live. Hang on just a second. I am going to change you back, and we're going to go over a couple of our housekeeping rules. Let's see. Just want to double check. Good afternoon. Like, it feels like it's morning. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you guys are. Thank you so much for joining us today. Well, yeah, we are live. And all right, cool. So let me go ahead and get this started. We're officially live for today's summit. I'm excited about everyone that's joining us. Trinette's like, yes, you are live. Good afternoon. Yes, thank you guys so much for joining. And I'm going to tell you now that I cannot promise you that the live stream is going to be on all day long. So, couple of rules while we get started is welcome. We have some phenomenal facilitators that are here with us today. I cannot tell you how excited I am to be here and to be able to present these facilitators and also present as well. You know, it's really interesting because I'd always planned on doing a summit, and I never realized, you know, kind of what the topic was going to be about, or what I wanted to share, or what the topic was. And here we are, you know, in this particular situation, and it really made sense to do the How to Crack the Recession Proof Code Summit. And because that I know that so many people right now are in a place where they're undecided and they're not sure of how to continue on in business. And so it made perfect sense. And so I know that right now, like, I'm gonna be honest with you, for right now, we are live on multiple platforms. You're probably seeing watch parties. Hopefully we can hang out with you guys online for a while, but I can't make you any promises. So the party's really going down in the Zoom room. Like, I don't know how else to call it. But so if you have not registered, I highly recommend that you go over to recessionproofcode.com, and actually get on the registration list so you'll get access to the replay. I've told the panelists, I've told our facilitators, these videos will not be online. We will be taking them down after the summit, but I definitely wanted to open it up for at least a little while. I gotta turn my notifications off because some of my students are texting me. Sorry about that. But yeah, so if you have not registered, please go ahead and get registered. Get in the room. This is where the facilitators are, where you can actually ask the questions. We will allow time for Q&A. And then I think I've already said that I can't guarantee that Facebook is, hey, Lyman, what's going on? I cannot guarantee that Facebook is going to allow us to be great the entire, you know, afternoon. So just really quickly, welcome Tiara, welcome Cherie, welcome Ron, hey Lyman, Caitlin, Helen, Felice, Dr. David, Diana, Denise. These are all individuals that are hanging out with us that actually registered and showed up. So without further ado, I'm actually going to, I think I can find her. I'm going to actually bring on our first facilitator, and let me pull up Lovely's, look at that smile, Lovely's bio. So let me see if I can pull her bio up. And that is so funny because we met on a summit, I think it was late last year. And she invited me to be on her podcast. And I was excited because now I have friends that are all the way from Ireland.
Yes, and the podcast was amazing as well. The episode was so much value shared. It was mind-blowing. It was brilliant.
And it's so funny because I always tease my students, and I let them know that I don't want a local brand. I want a global brand. So like when I started to get friends in Ireland, I was like, yeah, I'm global now.
Well, that's what happened to me. I was just, Ireland is very small. I live in the middle of nowhere in the rural part of Ireland. I literally outgrew the place so fast, and it was the only choice is to have a global brand. And
I love
so
it.
I took it.
And look at that. Your topic is branding. So we have Juliette Stapleton, right? She's like, listen, you make sure you call me I have been, oh my goodness. You know how it is with summits. But Juliette Stapleton is a visibility that sells strategist, a thought leader, and a writer on a mission to help expert coaches and service providers build a presence that sets the stage from the unignorable first impression to the authority that positions them as an asset to their clients. Juliette has guided thousands of students and clients from more than 30 countries all over the world through her value, which she's going to be teaching today, method, a simple system that has opened up the world of opportunities to hundreds of entrepreneurs, helping them reach millions and make millions with ease. So without further ado, I'm excited. I've got my notebook and my pen so that I too can take notes, because I believe that, note takers are money makers. So make sure we will leave some time at the end of her presentation, her talk, for some Q&A. So you all better come with it. I'm bringing you the best of the best today. So make sure that you come ready with those questions. So I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you so much, DeKesha. Guys, I am so glad to be here. I'm very honored. As DeKesha said, I'm a visibility that sells strategist. And when people say to me, what is visibility that sells? And really, it's a real strong, unignorable personal brand. Even if your business is not a business where you have where it's just you, maybe you have a team, maybe, even if you're developing something that you're not necessarily working with clients, trust me, when you put yourself as the front of the business, when you start focusing on your personal brand, it becomes competition proof, recession proof. You can pivot whichever way you want when you are the face of your business. You can completely close down your business now and open a new business and take all that audience that you've built because you were showing up as who you are, so they're connected to you rather than just your business, and you can take it to the new direction. And this is why a personal brand is definitely a key to having a recession-proof business, in my opinion. And I am a walking example of that. So what I want to teach you today, or what I want to talk you through today, and I'm going to share screen for that so I can talk you through my very, very simple 5-step value system to getting high-paying clients and the recognition you deserve. I work with, as DeKesha mentioned, experts, coaches, service providers, but still it applies to anybody who has a business who wants to show up as who they are, or even if they don't want to show up as who they are, they would still be very highly recommended. So vision, value system, V for vision, the very first step. And it's also something that, when you're starting your business, sometimes maybe you don't start it with a coaching program, right? So you don't go into looking at these are my whys, and this is what I need to do. But I think that not to overthink, but to have that big vision is so important, because a journey of being an entrepreneur, of running your own business, of building visibility online, this is my speciality, it's a long journey, and it requires a lot of patience, and it requires a lot of consistency and daily actions. And therefore, how do we find the drive to stay in that daily action, to have motivation, every day to be active on social media, to be, and I'm going to talk about some other elements there, but to be building your authority, your credibility, and work with clients and do your marketing. How do you do it all? Even if you have a team, it can still be very overwhelming, because it requires you to show up every day. And that's a decision you make, and that's a commitment that you make to yourself, because if you're not committing to it fully, then you can't expect any results, really. So commitment requires that drive, and the drive comes from having the vision. But how do you make sure that your vision is aligned with your brand? A lot of clients and students ask me this question. They say, how do you stay on brand? How do you create this brand? Well, the secret is that as a person, you already have a personal brand. You are already a distinct, unique human being with your own set of values, with your own dreams. And really, when you're taking that and turning it into business terms, we're talking about just having clear goals and defining the core values that our business will be aligned with. Because, you know, in life, our values, in life and business, our values should always go together. You know, so for me, if integrity is important in life, this is how I'm going to be showing up in my brand. This is how I'm going to create all the relationships and everything that I do in my business. It has to be done with integrity. So this is something that I just know, and everything I do has to be aligned with this. So if I'm invited to a new collaboration or anything, any major decision I have to make for my business, or even talking about small decisions like what am I going to post today? How am I going to talk about something? It has to have integrity. I cannot do something that is manipulative or that will not, you know, I can't not deliver on promises simply because this is the value that I show up with. So the other value could be something like having fun in your life, in your business. That's a huge thing for me. Humor is huge. So having that fun with having that banter with my clients and students, having loads of GIF offs, you know, when you ask somebody to comment with a GIF, and having that kind of fun and showing that fun side of my personality. And even it's going as far as using Snapchat filters sometimes on my videos, because this is part of who I am, and this is how I'm showing up in the business. Showing up in your business doesn't have to be this stodgy, super professional, you know, wearing a suit kind of image. It really, really doesn't, especially if you're using online business, but even in general. This is why I absolutely love showing up as a personal brand, because it gives you permission to really be you and who you are. And having that vision, really starting to connect with yourself. You know, what are your dreams? Because when you're saying set your clear goals, it doesn't mean that you have to know every little step. For some people, it's important, and it works really, really great for them to set up a goal and then break it into steps. And that's a system that gives them great results. Well, I'm not one of those people, and maybe you are not as well. You know, for me, I have to go with my intuition. I have to navigate the sea of life and find the best thing. So I can't even plan more than 3 months ahead, because I don't know how I'm going to feel in 3 months. But still, I have a clear goal, and the goal is, what is the dream? Why am I doing all this? Why am I hustling every day? And when you have that dream, and even if you just have this knowing that it's bringing you somewhere, it definitely does bring you somewhere. I've started my online visibility business as an online coach with that knowing that I can have a location-free business, that I can have a global brand, that I can create a business I can just wrap up in a laptop and travel around the world, so I can be flexible. And you know, that vision brought me everywhere. Now, the next thing for that unignorable personal brand, the vision is great because it gives you energy, but you have to also have the next step, authority. And authority is what separates anyone, you know, anyone who everybody kind of likes, and the person that people want to invest with, because they are somebody who other people look up to and follow. And there's a huge difference. I see a lot of people even being active on social media. You know, they're trying to show up as who they are, open up, create relationships. But what they're not doing at all is they're not positioning themselves as authority. How do you do that? You have to tap into publicity, you know, start writing maybe guest posts for online publications, get on summits, get on interviews, share your story. It doesn't have to be even a story about your business. It can be a personal story. Maybe you have a story about transformation. Most people, you know, over 20 have already some sort of stories. Well, maybe not in your 20s, well, but definitely you will have a story of life-changing transformation that you can share. And there's millions of people out there who are looking for that story. And you can build your authority by sharing that story on different podcasts and interviews and doing if it's business, doing expert trainings in Facebook groups. There's so much you can do. And of course, sharing about the results that you're getting for your clients and your students. So with the two ways, sharing the social proof with testimonials, case studies, building that credibility, and tapping into publicity and using it to leverage how people perceive you. Because at the end of the day, people judge each other by the cover. You know, the more, they don't even think, they just see somebody, they say, they come to your website and they see a few logos that maybe you can see at the bottom of the slide there. It says, as seen in Forbes, Influensive and Funnel. I was featured in Forbes recently. I contribute to Influensive. I contribute to Funnel magazine as a writer. So these are my credibility markers. And for most people, just glancing on that positions me already somewhere where they don't position another person who probably does exactly the same thing that I'm doing, but they're just not thinking about authority. And therefore, the chances that the person deciding between us two will go with someone that they think is more credible, more of a celebrity in their niche, has that status, you know, of someone, rather than somebody who just looks like a person next door. You know, and I always say I have a great neighbor called David, but I'm not going to give him $5,000, right? No matter how I like him, or, you know, we chat and everything, because he just doesn't have any authority in my eyes. And I will invest with someone who probably does exactly the same thing, but they are looking like somebody, a go-to name in their niche. So that's very, very important part. Let's move on to the next, and it's L in value, which is live streaming. And live streaming, for some people, very scary, very uncomfortable, and yet it's the best way to experience somebody online. So experience you as an expert, as a thought leader, as a person. Live streaming is the best. Like, you're looking at me now on video, right? So you can see me. I am, well, okay, I have a bright light, so I maybe look a little bit better than I look in real life. But still, you can see my personality, you can see that I talk with my hands, you can hear my accent, and you already know whether you like me or not. You know, that already pre-qualifies in itself. Either you get me and you vibe with me and you like my energy, or you hate it, right? Or maybe you don't hate it, or just you don't care. So that's a really, really good way of experiencing straight away, because our trust is based on like how we like a person. So the likability factor is important. And to build that know, like, and trust factor, we need to experience somebody like multiple times from multiple angles, and live streaming is where it's happening at the fastest. So for example, if this wasn't a summit and I could see everybody who is on, I could see the names, I could say hello to each one of you. So that way I would mention your name, and it's nice, isn't it? It's nice when your name is mentioned. It's something, there's something about it, makes you feel a tiny bit special. I love when my name is mentioned. I'm so vain. But it creates a connection again. This is the start of relationships. And relationships is really, truly what marketing is and what marketing should be. Creating relationships that then leads to exchange of value, you know. So this is something that I am a huge, huge fan. And trust me on one thing. I am one of the coaching, or one of the side of my coaching is coaching people through live streaming. So people who are afraid that, you know, they don't look well, or they feel very uncomfortable, and they have so many excuses that they're telling themselves not to live stream. And then I work with them, and literally within days, the transformation happens, and they start looking forward to this. It's such an amazing therapeutic way of shifting your personal energy and energizing yourself and sharing with people. So there is so many wonderful benefits that add to that drive. So it brings me back to V, right? The vision. It adds to that drive. It adds to that passion, and it helps you to show up every day. Because you know what? We're not machines. We're like flowers. We have the times when we expand and we creative and we share, and then there's other times where we need to contract and recharge and withdraw a little bit. And so sometimes we need to shift our energies. For me, and for what I teach and what I see in my clients, live video is that fastest way to manage your energy, to create this wonderful connection, and really build a very loyal followers or following of people who just love being in your world. At the end of the day, especially with online visibility, and especially if you're selling something that, well, actually, I think that if you're in any business, people often pay you for access to you. So having a personal brand is pre-sales in itself before you even have to have a sales conversation. And this is why it's absolutely brilliant. But it brings me to the next letter U. U for usefulness. And this is literally what leading with value is. So it's okay, you can have your passion. You can build your authority, share your stories, share your expertise, position yourself as somebody important. You can use live streaming. But as long as you are an asset to your clients, as long as you're doing it from the place of integrity, and you're really, really focusing on delivering that value, that only then it matters. Only then you're creating an impact with that unignorable brand that you're building. And as I'm saying here, you can see I'm saying this is not about doing everything for free when you're saying sharing value, but it's about creating these real deep relationships before even the transactions happen. You already build relationships, you already create that that reassurance that you are going to be there, and then after the transaction you're definitely going to be there as well, right? So we have to focus on the intention behind every post, every message. What I want to say, some practical tactics here, definitely steer away from any scripts. I know that I'm an introvert. You might not believe it because, you know, I'm very high energy here, but actually I'm very quiet and introvert person. So for me, talking to strangers used to be a really, really hard thing to do. It's not in my culture and it's not in my personality. And yet, you know, I'm a visibility strategist who connects to a lot of people. I'm on my 5,000 friends on my personal profile, and I send everyone who I connect to a personal message. How did I learn to do it, or what's the right way to do it? Well, the right way is to get rid of any scripts and treat each person with this intention of appreciating them as another person, not just a number. Don't collect numbers for your profile count, not just you know, another lead in your funnel, but actually a true person who is you know, who has the world, who has their own stuff going on. And so you treat them with integrity. Don't send ever messages that say something like, oh, I'm connecting to like-minded people, because in my opinion, I need to get to know you before I know if you are like-minded. The fact that we're both entrepreneurs means nothing, you know. So take friendship seriously, and think about, you know, how are you connecting to people? How are you posting things? What are you trying to do? When you are focusing on connection versus conversion, and I'm not saying that you're not going to sell, but if your initial connection is about the relationships, the connection, that's when you are leading with value. That's when you're becoming useful to this person, whether or not they become your client. Because trust me, those people who don't become our clients, when you treat them with value, when you lead with value, when you treat them with integrity, they become huge ambassadors for our brand, for you as a brand. And they will bring you referrals, and they will bring you clients, and they will have that amazing impression of you. And that's what an unignorable personal brand is. So this is so important, to be useful. And the last thing is, of course, engagement, right? I'm the online visibility strategist, so we have to talk about understanding what engagement is. The biggest problem with a lot of people who are showing up that I see, and I see it in some of my students and clients sometimes as well, is that they want to see instant validation. They want to see instantly loads of engagement. They'll do a video and there is no, no comments, only maybe 1, 2 likes. Not many people saw the video, and they get upset and they want to give up. But the truth is that we can't expect instant validation, because growing engagement on social media, for example, is a process. It's not a microwavable process either. It's going to take time. And also you need to learn and master and understand what engagement is in terms of being relatable. So actually talking about something that people care, because you know how they say, the most favorite topic for everyone is themselves. So if you're showing up and you're only talking about yourself, look at me, people are kind of not interested. So you have to turn it around and you have to make it about them. So if they come across you and they're like, okay, so what is it for me? What's there for me in this? There is something for them, right? So you're not making it about you, but you're making it here, I am here for you. So that's part of being relatable, but also we have to understand the actual technology and how engagement works. For example, from about last year, maybe 2018, Facebook started talking about the most important thing is meaningful conversations, right? So comments these days on Facebook is the most important thing. Comments is where you can boost the algorithm to show your post to more people. This means that, for example, if you're doing a live stream, you should have a call to action in the middle of your live stream to ask people to comment if they agree, comment if they want to learn more, ask them where they're watching from. So you're doing that to create conversation, yes, and just actually, mention people, say hello to them, but you're also doing this understanding how the technology works, that every time somebody comments, your video will be shown to more people, so you are boosting your reach as well. So when you are understanding these two things, that's the key to mastering, using the engagement strategies to attract and convert more leads into paying clients, because you will create more conversations. Also, I want to mention, there is a lot of times, don't worry about if you don't have too much engagement on your posts, because if you are, for example, writing long posts, sometimes people read and they might be just like deep posts, people read and they think about them, and not everybody even remembers to comment. There's some people that are very hyper and they love commenting. I love commenting. But there's other people that they need to be told, comment below, say, or give me this and this word, or give me 3 in the comments. Well, usually I use that in videos. And so you have to tell people to engage with you. And then, you're creating conversations. You're also serving yourself, as in you're getting more eyes on you. If you're using video, it's brilliant, because, and this is another reason to use video in your marketing, in your online visibility. When somebody is not used to commenting or liking, or doesn't want to be seen doing these things, there are people like that as well. We call them lurkers, right? They still watch your videos. So that's the only way for Facebook to know that these people are interested in your content. And that's why you should really, really do video, and you should do it, and live video, and you should do it often. Because for those people who are silently following you, that's the way Facebook will know that your content is engaging, and they will continue seeing your post in their newsfeed. So that's pretty much the overview of the steps and the system and things that you have to keep in mind to build that unignorable personal brand, to attract the high valued clients, to stay on brand, to stay connected, and to stay really, really, well, authentic and show up with integrity. I'm going to stop sharing here and see if you have any questions, guys. I think, DeKesha, you're muted.
It would help if I unmuted myself. No, this is really, really good. So if you guys have any questions, make sure that you pop them down in the chat below, and we can get Juliette to answer those. But I'm really glad that you were able to talk a little bit about engagement. And a lot of people underestimate the power of engagement on social media, and understanding like the algorithms that Facebook has that will, I mean, it will push old videos to the top just by someone commenting on a previous post. So someone says, Christopher says, can you do too many lives?
No, you can't do too many lives, but you have to also be just, just use common sense. It's very difficult. Some people are great at doing daily lives. Daily lives are brilliant for creating a huge connection, building huge following over time, right? Over time. Let's say if you did it for 6 months. But I honestly have to say to you, not everybody is capable. I can't stay consistent with lives for more than 3 weeks. Then I kind of forget and fall off the wagon. And you know what? It's okay. This is the key, to never put yourself under pressure and shame yourself because you haven't done something. Do them in seasons or series, or even you skipped a few days. Well, then do it again. The most important thing, if you're doing anything like in terms of consistency, is stay away from saying to yourself, I am doing a 30-day challenge, if you're not very good at sticking to doing something all the time. Because comes day 17 and let's say you're in bids that day and you don't want, you're contracted, you don't want to do a live video, and you kind of forcing yourself, but it could, or something could happen, So I like calling my videos series or something season, and then you can just skip things. But what I do think is that you need to make sure that you are very consistent with some sort of frequency that you're comfortable with. So your audience then gets sort of trained that you are there on video ever so often. Not necessarily that you don't need to try and train them that you're there at 5 o'clock, every Tuesday, because, especially if you're starting, if you have millions of followers, it's a great idea. Yeah. But if you're just starting, you don't have to stick to that kind of thing. It's not going to make a difference. Just be there on Tuesday.
We've got so many questions. So, okay, I'm going to try to answer about 2 or 3 more.
Okay, perfect.
So,
yeah.
Amanda says, what is the best way to get a better handle on this if you've been doing it yourself for a while, but need to fine tune your brand and reach? I think I know what you're going to say, but I'm going to let you answer it.
No, I'm trying to see this question here because I kind of misunderstood. Can you read it out again? Because
I'm going to read it again. What is the best way to get a better handle on this if you've been doing it yourself for a while, but you need to fine tune your brand and your reach?
Well, see, this is where I misunderstand this question is, if you were doing it yourself for a while, which this is exactly what I have been doing myself. Guys, I don't have a team. My business is so simple. I don't need a team, right? I do everything myself for 3 years. And,
Michelle, you
to stay on brand, you just...
See, this is the benefits of being in the Zoom room. Are you able to unmute, Michelle, to clarify your question? And then while we are, I'm not Michelle, that's Amanda. Amanda asked a question. Hang on 1 second.
Yeah, it's just to be clear, because sometimes it could be just miscommunication. And when it's a miscommunication, it's very difficult to answer the question with the most value for you. In a way, staying on, see, this is the most important thing. Focus on doing and focus on the process, whatever you're doing, and don't focus on trying to find that brand voice before you do it. Because usually what happens is that when you take action, just stay true to yourself. This is what I said in the system. We were talking about vision and having these values and having these goals and having, knowing your story and just sticking to that, and not being all over the place, and just sticking to these kind of themes. We call them brand themes, where you talk about your values, you talk about your stories, like particular stories that you choose strategically to talk about, and you build that around your visibility. So that's how the brands manage themselves, like say Coca-Cola or Nike or Apple. They have particular stories that they keep reinforcing, and this is how you create that clearer message. I hope I'm answering that question of yours, so let me know in the comments.
She didn't have any audio. She said she'd have to call in. More niching down. Yeah, I don't know.
Is that a question?
Too. She was saying more niching down. I guess it sounds like she wants to fine tune her brand and her reach, but also I think she's asking, does it make sense to niche down? Which I think that you do, and it depends, Amanda, on who your audience is. It depends.
It really,
who you want to target and who you're speaking to. one thing that they say, and we'll be talking about this, is you can't speak to everybody. You have to speak to somebody. So when you master your message and you identify who you are targeting and who your target audience is, and I know we say this a lot of times, it really helps how you show up. It's funny because I was having this conversation with a client in our coaching call. And even though, and I think she's on, and even though, you know, her message can help so many, one of the things that I said to her was, when you are online and you want to target a specific audience, you make sure that you speak to that specific audience. So if we're talking to homeschool, you know, parents, then we want our messaging online to specifically say homeschool parents, because that's going to help them raise their hand to know that you're speaking, you know, directly to them. So another question is the V and the A. Can you repeat the V and the A again?
Yes, so V for vision, V for vision, A for authority, L for live streaming, U for usefulness, and E for engagement.
I love it.
And yes, I see the question there. If these slides will be emailed, they probably won't be emailed to you, but you can watch on the replay. It's just a really, really small, simple system. Or you can join me on JulietteStapleton.com, you know, get to know me better. There's loads of resources there, and then you can get back and learn that system even more.
I love it. Well, thank you so much. I know you're going to be hanging around just a little bit. So there are several other questions in the feed. So make sure that you kind of check those out. And my team and I will make sure that there's a couple of other questions where people have raised their hands. So I want to make sure that we get all the questions answered. So we'll send them over to you, Juliette, so you can reach out to the person and actually have that conversation. But thank you so much. I really appreciate you sharing today. I think this was very, very insightful for everyone that is on here. So thanks again. And I know you'll be hanging out for a little while, and we'll get those other questions to you.
Perfect. Right, see you later, guys.
Absolutely. Let me see. Where is my Bianca? Mic check, mic check. And I don't know if I take you back to attendee, you can still answer questions, Juliette. There she is. All right, let me get you unmute yourself and we'll go ahead and introduce you.
Okay, hold on one second.
Change role to attending. Awesome. All right, so you guys that are joining in, are you enjoying this information so far? Let me go ahead and pull up let me get some love to Facebook. So welcome Angela Davis. Hey Roz, Tony, Yvette, Marco, Jacqueline Jones Cox, Deborah Williams, Dee Bowden is out there, and Christian Tippler is some of the names that I can see. So make sure if you are still hanging in with us on Facebook, do me a favor and drop your first name, last name below. Let us know what you do. I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm giving love to Zoom and those that registered and came into our Zoom green room first, but we will shout you out online. How about that? I will do that in our breaks, okay? But so awesome. So Christopher said this is awesome information. Great. Glad that you all are enjoying. All right, so Miss Bianca. So Bianca and I actually participated. Hey, Elder Carmen, what's going on, love? I actually participated in one of your classes, one of your LinkedIn classes. I know, right? And so that's how we were connected, and really loving, you know, your thought process, your strategy when it comes to LinkedIn. And I am going to be honest, and they know I'm always transparent, right? I did not want to spend no time of day over there on LinkedIn. I'm not going to even lie. Like, Bianca, I'm not going to lie. Like, Facebook has been what has taken my business over 6 figures, right? From the comfort of my home. But let me tell you, when we closed the deal from LinkedIn and it was $5,000, what? I was like, oh, maybe I need to do more of this. Maybe I am leaving some money on the table, okay? And so and that's where I said, you know what? I too am leaving money on the table. We all do, right? We're not perfect. We're human. And so we get into our comfort zone. And so I log into Facebook like I'm logging into a system at SunTrust, like I used to work at SunTrust. And so, but it creates a habit, right? It creates a habit. And so now a part of my ritual is to make visiting LinkedIn a part of my daily ritual.
Cool.
So you rock. So all right, so let me do the actual introduction, okay? That was my introduction.
I love it. I love
Look,
it.
and if you ask me, I think that was good enough, but let me tell the people a little bit about Bianca.
Okay.
Bianca is a storyteller and branding consultant based in Baltimore, Maryland. Her background in tech, digital marketing, and diversity and inclusion has landed her an associated project at Pulitzer Prize, 40K plus followers. Let me say that one more time. 40,000 plus followers on LinkedIn and coveted speaking opportunities at events such as SXSW, Digital Summit for Philadelphia, and Tech Inclusion, New York. Her work has been featured in such publications as Forbes, Washington Post, and Tech Republic. Okay, so can I be honest for a second? Like, introducing you makes me feel like I'm on the radio. Like, that's just confirmation I need to go ahead and start my podcast. I'm just saying. Okay. Enough about me.
Yes.
All right, Bianca. So we are going to turn it over to you. Super excited. I have loved, incorporating LinkedIn. So I know that they're waiting. I know they're like, would you please be quiet and let her tell us about LinkedIn?
No. I mean, like, a lot of people are in your position, right? So they've been, marketing on Facebook, marketing on Twitter, marketing on IG. And a lot of times what I hear is people say, oh, LinkedIn seems so stuffy. It seems so square. It seems like you really can't be that creative. And I'm just like, this is so much farther than the truth. But beyond that, the faster you can, quote unquote, get to the money, as one of my favorite people say, like Lamar Tyler and TSP, is to be on LinkedIn. It's just a place of authority. When people are there, they are in a different mindset, right? They're there representing their businesses. They're there representing their careers and what they do. If they're freelancers, contractors, everyone's there with a very business focused mind. Whereas when you're on Facebook, people are looking at cat videos. They're looking at the new challenge. Like, so it's a different mindset. So when you're in a place where people are already thinking business, money, career, the conversations are easier.
No, you're absolutely right. So tell us a little bit about, like, for those of us that are, I wouldn't even say new, but I'm going to say new to the platform, because now we want to step up our game, right?
Yeah.
That's why we're new, because we're stepping up our game. And we know that there's a certain type of clientele. A lot of people say corporate, but also there's a different client on the LinkedIn platform. So what are some different strategies that we could be implementing in our business on a daily routine to get our message out on the LinkedIn platform?
Engagement, right? So you got to let people know that there's a human behind their profile. A lot of times what we do is we go set up like we're, making a store, right? We make it all pretty, like, oh, I'm going to get this picture because I look fabulous in the picture. The cover photo might say something about, oh, I just wrote a book, or I'm a speaker. But then we leave it there, and then we expect the inquiries to roll in, and like, no, that's not how it works. So engaging, right? Commenting on other people's posts, liking the post, sharing the post, or even posting your own content are some of the best ways to start getting that traction in. So I actually have a presentation if you want me to go through that, but we can also have the oh, look at you.
Let me go ahead and turn my mic off and turn it over to you.
Okay, well, let me go ahead and do that. I'll run through it. Please let me know if there's any questions. I'm going to try to keep the screen up and also present at the same time so I can see anything that's that may come up. Okay, can you see my screen? Okay, awesome.
Yep, there you go.
All right, awesome. So I like to do this training that I normally call Lost on LinkedIn, because a lot of people feel lost on LinkedIn. So please let me know down the chat. I'll ask you questions, and I'll try to keep an eye on Facebook too to see if there's people there who are actually joining the conversation. So normally when I do this presentation live, I always ask this question, and I love this question. So if you had to pick, and you can participate if you want to, pick a number between these two numbers, which one would you pick, 59 or 75? And there are some people who have already seen this presentation on this call, but go ahead and drop it in the chat. Which one would you rather choose, 59, 75? Go ahead and drop it for me if you can. and I'll tell you why it's important. So look, we got some participation. I like that. I like that, DeKesha. So moving forward, so what's the difference? Why are these two numbers? I bring these two numbers up because of the following. In the US, the average salary is about $59,000. On LinkedIn, the average user makes about $75,000. So essentially, just by being on the platform, you can give yourself a $16,000 raise. I want you to let me know if you knew that. If you knew that, go ahead and drop yes. If you didn't, go ahead and drop no. And then even on top of that, and this kind of goes to the comment that you were saying, DeKesha, that there's a different type of client on LinkedIn. This is partly why, right? Even on top of that, 44% of LinkedIn users actually take home more than 75K. So you're talking about people who have decision-making ability, people who control purse strings, people who are just in just different economic circles than, you know, some of the people or most of the people who are on Facebook and Twitter and even IG are on. So what have we learned so far? We want to be on LinkedIn, and we need to be using it so that we can get the clients and the type of deals that we're looking for. So we can have, you know, really exciting stories, as DeKesha said, you know, being able to book a $5,000 client, if not more, right? So, but here's your challenge, right? So you might be an entrepreneur, you might be an entrepreneur who speaks, you may be a speaker who's also an entrepreneur, you might be in any of those categories, right? But what you need right now is probably more clients and more gigs like ASAP, right? So I normally like using LinkedIn as my place of going to go find these people. But while you're here today and you're listening to this presentation, is you may have not even logged in for months, right? You're lucky if you remember your password. You might have a profile that, you know, you treat like a resume because you don't know what to put on it. Or maybe you've actually tried leveraging the platform to connect with other professionals and you're confused about what to say, how to engage, and what you should post. We'll talk about that here, what you should be doing. So with that, but even deeper, what keeps you up at night is potentially the constant worry that whatever you're working on, whatever you're doing isn't working. Maybe missing out on opportunities that really could provide the paydays that you're looking for, the ones that really could change your life, or even remaining invisible. And actually this number is a lot higher now. LinkedIn, by the time I did this presentation, and even now, it grew by 100 million users. So 675 million users on the platform. So, you know, just really struggling to stand out. So I'll talk about why that's important and the kind of like the percentage of active users on LinkedIn. So for those of you who don't know me, and this is your first opportunity meeting me, hey, I am Bianca J. Jackson. I am a storyteller. I am a branding consultant. I specifically advise speakers, consultants, trainers, and presenters on how to become thought leaders and attract more opportunities to build and scale your work, your business. You know, just for some receipts for those looking for street cred, my work has been featured in Forbes, Glassdoor. Before all of this, I was a visiting professor at Rutgers for their career development program. I've spoken at Capital One, South by Southwest, in Austin. Also been work has been featured in Washington Post and also for Tech Republic. So that's who I am, just in case you don't know who I am. So game plan. So this is what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to cover some of the common struggles and mistakes people like me, even me, have made on social media and what you may be doing, right? Talk about why LinkedIn is your secret weapon for serious entrepreneurs who want to get to the money and how to mine gold from LinkedIn without feeling sleazy or annoying. So here we go. This is our game plan for today. So this is what I like to say. Everyone is marketing. You're marketing something. Everyone's a marketer. You're marketing something even if you don't know it. So it's good if you're intentional, you know what you're marketing, you know what your message is, you know what your brand stands for, and kind of like, you know, some of the points that Juliette pointed out, you got to be very clear when you decide that you're going to be visible, right? So I'll just share with you some of my struggles so far that have happened in the past. And, you know, sometimes that I occasionally, you know, stumble over, right? So I was once like you. So let me know if this sounds like anything that you are experiencing now or have experienced in the past, right? So I was building a career coaching program. I was in the career coaching field a couple of years ago, and I spent thousands of dollars on how to build my business. I think I dropped like $8,000 for a program with Entrepreneur Magazine. I dropped like another $4,000 for a program that was teaching me how to transition from employee to an entrepreneur, right? So in this particular program, the employee, the entrepreneur program, it was about $4,000 at the time. And in this program, there were maybe 2 other career coaches, right? And in the program, they were teaching people how to market on Facebook, and that's all they talked about. And I saw the other career coaches killing it and booking clients left and right. And everything that I was trying wasn't really working. I felt like, wow, did I just waste all my money in this space? But then I had to realize that the clientele that I was going after were women who were in STEM fields, and I was helping them with their careers. So I realized that, you know what, I'm in the wrong place. There aren't too many people who have that hat on, right? I'm at work. I'm in STEM fields, my challenges are a little bit different, right? So when you're working in, sometimes in male-dominated industries, depending on what part of STEM you're in, you could be the only woman in there. You could be the only Black person in there. Sometimes you're the only Black woman in there. So your challenges are very different than, let's just say, industry where it's kind of equal or maybe it's mostly dominated by women. So I realized that I was in the wrong place. Facebook was not the place for me. I needed to go to LinkedIn, and that's what I did. So I had to teach myself everything because this program didn't have anything about LinkedIn marketing in it. So I researched my butt off until I found a formula that worked for me. So let me show you what happened. So within 1 year, I grew my following for wherever number I was at, I think maybe like 1,000, 2,000, something like that, to 30,000. And what it was like, I want to say 82% of my clients that year, 237, actually came from LinkedIn. So that was about 170, 180, somewhere around there. And I was intentional. So like I said, I found the secret sauce of what worked for me. I realized, how LinkedIn was running their algorithm. So just to kind of give you a little bit of other background that I didn't say, my background is tech. So I'm very familiar with the systems that are needed to run websites and search algorithms and things like that, data analytics, personalization and things like that. So I just kind of like start looking at some things, start reading some articles, and like, I got it, LinkedIn. I know what you're doing. So then I took advantage of it, and that's what happened. So let me just share with you guys like why LinkedIn is your secret weapon. So these stats are huge, and I actually need to update them because they've changed so much, and especially they've changed so much since the onset of all this, right? So, and basically that number that I mentioned before, the 575 million people on average before COVID, every month, there were 260 million users who were logging into LinkedIn. And I'm pretty sure that stat is going to be completely blown out the water at this point, that maybe the activity is probably going to move to like a weekly basis, if not, every 2 months or twice a month basis. But beyond that, the next stat here is about HubSpot. So HubSpot did a survey around what social media platforms provided you the most qualified leads. And they found that you have a 277% likely chance of generating effective leads on LinkedIn than Facebook and Twitter. Now, if that ain't enough for you to say, you know what, I'm gonna put Facebook and Twitter off to the side for right now and really put my effort into LinkedIn, I don't know what is, but this is where I put most of my energy, most of my effort. But then on top of that, for those of you who have global domination on your agenda, the US has the most LinkedIn users at 133 million, but 70% of LinkedIn users are actually outside of the United States. So let me know if you knew that. Drop a yes in the comments, drop a no if you did. And I think that those are really interesting things, or just stats to kind of keep in mind. So at the very least, what you want to learn from this slide, log in at least once a month. And if I were you, I would actually log in at least once a week. Put your lead generation efforts on LinkedIn versus Facebook and Twitter. And then also, if you want to start building those international bridges, start with LinkedIn. The second highest country with the most LinkedIn users is actually India. So I'm not sure if anyone on this call has any interest in doing business in India. This is the platform that you want to use. But then this last stat that I have at the bottom here, I always mention this because I think it's important. It goes to what DeKesha was mentioning before about mindset, right? So a total of 39% of LinkedIn users actually pay for a premium version. What does that mean? Members like me, because I'm in that 39%, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be higher once they do the new stats of, you know, the onset of COVID. That means for those people who are paying for their subscriptions, they're there with a particular purpose. One, they're there for business, or they're there for work. They're trying to get more work. They're trying to get more business. If a person is willing to pay to use a platform, then that means that they're willing to pay other people to give them services, to provide them services. So for me, knowing that almost 4 out of every 10 LinkedIn users is already thinking with this mindset, this is the room that wants to pay. This is the room that wants quality work. This is the room that wants, you know, extraordinary experiences. On Facebook, people aren't there with the mindset that I'm trying to build my business. I'm trying to, you know, get extra, you know, quality work, right? They're there for social. They're there to connect with their friends. They're there to watch cat videos. They're there to look at babies. Completely different mindset versus the people who are on LinkedIn that says, you know what, I'm paying for this thing, so I'm going to get the most out of it. I'm going to find qualified contractors. I'm going to find qualified freelancers. I'm going to find someone that maybe I don't have in my network yet. Maybe I'm going to just build my network so that as I have more opportunities for work, I can just dig into that. And I can tell you that's what I do. I build my LinkedIn network specifically so that when I have a need, I can reach out to them and not have to worry about word of mouth through Facebook. I go immediately to LinkedIn. I start searching. I try to pick out someone who's in my first person connections because like DeKesha said, I have over 30,000 connections and 42,000 followers. So out of my 30,000 connections, somebody is going to have what I need. So that's why I use LinkedIn. That's why I think you should use LinkedIn. That's why the mindset of the LinkedIn user is very different than any other user on any other platform. So hopefully that was convincing enough, this one slide of why you should definitely be using LinkedIn, but I have more to share with you. So with that, you're probably thinking at this time, all right, so I have a LinkedIn profile. I don't know how to use it to make money. Okay, if that's you, drop you in the chat. I got you. You're probably thinking, how do I get my connections on the phone? If that's you, drop me in the chat. If you are thinking, how do I start and maintain conversations with other professionals? If that's you, drop it in the chat. And also, I want to say, like, I already put this down in the chat myself, but if you don't have my ebook, go ahead and download it, lostonlinkedin.com. It will start giving you some of these answers if I don't get to specifically what your question or answer is during this presentation. You're also probably thinking, I feel so lost. I don't know how to sell myself online. If that's you, drop it in the chat. Or maybe you're even thinking, look, I know I had a great service or product, and I'm ready to share with the world, but I just don't know how to get started. If that is you, drop it in the chat. So like I said, I'll try to cover as much as I can. I don't want to go over my time. But so I'm going to share with you a client use case. And I love this story because people sometimes come to me, it's like, all right, Bianca, I don't know if what I do, what I sell, my product or service is right for LinkedIn. Let me introduce you to Miss Natasha Hardy, Sexability Coach. Now you're probably thinking, like, what is sexability? This is a term that Miss Natasha has coined for her work. So essentially she is teaching women over 50, I think, or 40, somewhere around there, about how to, one, stay healthy, how to stay in shape, you know, to continue, you know, that part of their life, right? But normally it also is supposed to help out different symptoms of menopause too. So how do you address issues that you may be facing when it comes to menopause, you know, just, you know, doing exercises that help you combat some of the things that you may be experiencing. So Natasha came down, she was in New York, she came down to Baltimore and sat in a class that I had, and we worked on her profile and I gave her some strategies. So this is what happened. So she sent me this testimony. I'll try to read it because it's right on this and you might not be able to see it. So Natasha Hardy, accessibility coach for women 50 plus, she goes, oh my God, Bianca, my views to my profile went up 854%. I know statistically that sounds crazy, but I didn't make this up. This is what LinkedIn showed her as a part of her dashboard. She says, you go, girl. I've messaged some people today, so this was part of the strategy that we worked on. I thought I'd share the news with you. And she talks about how she helps women 50 plus and fabulous to have a passionate sex life through education, exercise, and fun. And also this kind of tackles, like I said before, some menopause things. So this is a subject, sex, menopause, are somewhat taboo, right? But there are women, professional women, who are facing this as an issue, right? So we talked about Natasha, how she could message people privately, how she could talk about her work in a way that it would be received in a professional setting. So we talked through a strategy of like how to send messages, how to start setting up sales calls. And I was really excited for her. One of the things that I did for her is that I kind of profiled her on my page to kind of help give her an extra boost. But like, if you've ever met Natasha, if you ever know her, if you ever get a chance to meet her, she is full of energy. And even when you meet her, you're like, well, I may not be 50 plus, or I may not be going through menopause, but I definitely need what you got. So she has that type of energy. So in general, I just wanted to share some other client stories. There's young ladies in the credit business. She talked about how her followers went up and how her B2B followers contacts, she had 35% less in the 6 months before she started using the tips and the tricks. So basically she increased. And then we have a woman here that, she gave me a recommendation from her seeing me at a conference. And she talked about, I talked about some really advanced functions on LinkedIn. So these were a room full of marketers, like 400 of them. So I knew I couldn't get them the basic stuff. So I talked about like how to use Boolean searches, how to really look at your weekly keyword statistics, recommendation requests, carousel ads, voice messaging, QR codes, video. So this is all advanced stuff. So don't feel like you need to figure this out tomorrow. You just need to get the basics down. And then also I wanted to bring this other one up because this client talked about how many of you are doing multiple things, right? You do, like in this case, Quinteri was doing real estate. She had a faith and fashion week. She's also a community board member, and she wanted to find a way to bring all of it together under one profile, under one umbrella. So she talked about how we found like a theme through her story, and it was pretty much the thing that was really moving her, which I was really helpful for, is that she wanted to help women build a legacy through her, helping them learn the real estate market, and also, featuring their products in her Faith and Fashion Week. So she got me with the story because she told me the story about her being a single mom of 3 girls and how she moved from Detroit to the DC area, and like she wanted to be a shining example for them, and that was pervasive throughout her work. So we talked about how that made a difference and really brought it up on her LinkedIn profile. So you're probably saying, all right, where's the good stuff? I'll show you in just a second. So I have a neighbor his name is Pete the Greek. He always says, I show him something that's wrong in my house. He goes, oh, is that it? Easy, right? So I'm going to show you how easy this is on, getting your LinkedIn together. So if you don't have a pen, a piece of paper, a pencil, a phone, I want you to take a picture of this next slide, not this one here, because we're going to mine some gold. I'm going to show you how to do it. These are inbox messages of like what you can get people to do once you do all the things that I'm telling you to do, like leave you messages about your work. So I just wanted to put that there. But yes, take a picture of this, write it down if you can. So essentially what you want to do is just simple 5 steps for entrepreneurs. You want to identify your ideal client. You want to identify their needs and their wants, because once you do this, you can speak directly to them. And like, I think DeKesha, you had mentioned this, is that when you call out, quote unquote, like a homeschool parent, they know exactly that you are talking to them. So identify your ideal client, their needs and their wants. Craft a profile that is about them. A lot of times what people do, they make the mistake and start writing their profile about themselves. They don't care about you. They don't. They care on whether or not you can solve their problem, right? So if you can write to that and you're mentioning their needs, their wants, they're more likely to choose you. The third thing here is you want to share content that establishes your authority, right? Puts you in a position of an expert. So you want to find things, you know, your own work, or even you can share other people's work and write a quick synopsis on why this is important, how this applies to your target audience. So you can do a combination, or you could do one or the other, right? The other thing is that you want other people to sing your praises. So like if you go to my profile, I have over 100 recommendations. And I did that purposely. So even when I help people pro bono, or even my paid clients, I get people to write me recommendations, because no matter what, it's the same service, right? I want people to feel like and know that when they talk to me, when they work with me, they actually meet their goals, they get results, right? So I have a whole bunch of people saying how easy it is, or how funny I am, or how engaged I am, or how lively a presentation is, because I want people to know what they'll get when they experience me before they actually experience me. The other thing that I want to say is that you want to create a system where you get them out of your inbox. Have a scheduling link. When someone starts the conversation with you, like, hey, let's take this offline. Let's talk, have a phone call. Don't get into the whole email battle. Like, what time are you free? What time are you available? Have a system where you can just get them into your sales funnel. Please take a picture of this if you did not, because this is like the secret sauce in the quick 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 system that you would need as an entrepreneur to really scale your business, to really get those eyes, to get the visibility that you're looking for. So I'm not sure where we are on time, DeKesha, but I'm just going to pull up this last thing here. If you need more help when it comes to LinkedIn, go ahead and download this ebook. It's Lost on LinkedIn ebook at lostonlinkedin.com, and that will give you more information. There's like 22 pages of content, but I am ready for questions, DeKesha, if you want me to take these questions, girl.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Like I was telling everybody, I was like, whoa, why did I take so long to fall in love with LinkedIn? But it has definitely helped. Any questions? Crystal says, how do you know which LinkedIn package to buy? I think he may be referring to maybe like the premier level.
Yeah, so there are different ones. The one that I have is about $59 or so, and it's one of the business packages. And I will say this, make sure that you have a strategy before you go buy it, because then you buy it with no strategy. You're like, oh, this didn't work. Don't do that. So if you don't know exactly what your strategy is yet, but you still want to try it, LinkedIn occasionally offers free trials, either via email or on your actual profile. There'll be a link that says try a free month for premium.
We love free trials.
Yeah.
Awesome. Hey, Amy. Amy says she is crazy in love with Sales Navigator.
Yes.
Love.
Yeah, Sales Navigator, I still got a hate and love, love-hate relationship with it. I'm still trying to like really figure it out for myself, but I get a lot of my clients from just organic engagement.
Nice. Awesome. Keep going. Awesome. All right. So as we wrap it up, let us know. So number one, she's got it on here as on the screen where to get the ebook, because I know a lot of people, that's the one question they were like, where can I get the ebook? So lostonlinkedin.com. Appreciate you sharing that. Love the information. So much good stuff. So thanks again for coming on and being one of our facilitators today. Truly appreciate that. I think LinkedIn is a hidden jewel. And if you are under the sound of my voice, I think it is very important that you start to implement strategies and getting connected on LinkedIn. So I'm going to go ahead and start it out. Y'all make sure that you all connect with me on LinkedIn. I think a lot of you I'm already connected with, but thank you again. Hopefully you'll hang out for another 5, 10 minutes, 15 minutes and answer any additional questions that may be out there. Lostonlinkedin.com. Someone says it's not working, so we'll give you a chance to make sure that they get that. And we're going to keep this party rolling. So thanks again. All right, let me see if I can find my Amy Walker.
It pulled up for me. I'm not sure why it didn't pull up for somebody else.
All right, I'm going to take you back. I think Amy just raised her hand. She's like, I'm here. Dun, 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 dun. Awesome. There you are.
All right.
Amy.
Okay. How are you?
I am wonderful. So excited to have you here.
No, I'm excited to be here on your amazing summit. Since you were just on mine, it's like
I know. Well, I'm going to go ahead and do the official bio, but I must say that Amy and I connected well over 5 years ago. And it's so funny. I was going to send you the pictures. It was in.
You have the pictures of our first meeting?
I do, from Precious Stage.
Yeah.
And so, yes, she just did.
Oh, you know what, DeKesha? Crush the Stage pictures just popped up on my newsfeed, and I look wretched in every single one. Don't send them to me. I saw them myself. Now that you say that.
Post them. She said she looked ratchet in every.
They were not good pictures.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. All right. So let me see. Let me go ahead and pull it up. We kind of hijacked your bio. But
no worries.
I love me some Amy Walker. Amy Walker is a highly sought after professional speaker, business coach, and radio show host. Amy is a master presenter and has influenced thousands with her high energy, content rich style. Amy is an expert communicator. She is a certified body language expert and has a BA in linguistics. Amy Walker is a highly sought after professional speaker, business coach, and radio show host. Wait, I'm reading the same thing again?
Yeah, sorry.
Wait, that sounds like it's over and over again.
I think maybe we got doubles on there.
Yeah, so all right. So without further ado, I'm excited to hear your message today. And actually, I got a surprise because we'll talk about that later. We'll talk about your event that's coming up later.
Oh, awesome. Cool. Awesome. Okay. Well, I'm so excited for being here with all of you. And what I would love as we kind of jump in and get started is if you would all tell me what your business is in the chat, because I want to make sure that we're using really relevant examples. And if you tell me what your business is, as I'm going through and talking about things that we need to pivot in our business strategy right now, I will actually use your examples. So let me know what you do. By the way, I just want to say amen, amen, amen. I love LinkedIn. You guys, it's the easiest platform to use for your business, and it is so incredibly useful and helpful. So let's, I'm going to pull up my screen share here and get my PowerPoint up and on. Let's see, where's the slideshow? That's the button I'm looking for, slideshow. Okay, so what we're going to talk about is your client acquisition strategy. What needs to pivot? Now, a lot of people are like, a client acquisition, I kind of know what that is, but what exactly is that? It is finding the easiest, fastest, most simple solution to consistently acquire your ideal client. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. And the thing that's tricky right now in COVID, it's not that people aren't selling. You guys, I've had 5 sales conversations this week. 2 are closed. 1 is a verbal commitment. 1 is considering between a $5,000 package and an $18,000 package. And 1 is a not now, but later. So I want you to understand that client acquisition is alive and well, and you all can do it. Like absolutely everybody can be selling right now. We just have to sell differently, and we have to adjust our packages. We have to adjust what we're offering. We have to adjust our reach out strategy. Pretty much every part of the plan has to be adjusted right now in order to make your business super relevant. But I'm excited to get you selling. And is anybody else excited to get selling? If you're excited to get selling, let me know, because I kind of like when people are closing deals. Okay, DeKesha is. We're on it. Same page there. Team sales. Let's get it done. Let's get these clients coming in. All right, so let's go through, and I'm going to share with you what I'm going to be covering today. We are going to be talking about your online client acquisition strategies because, I'll show you in just a minute, even though we are going to be opening up soonish, we still have to have strong online client acquisition strategies. We're going to be talking about how to find the opportunities right now for what people are buying right now. If you guys want some tips for managing your team virtually, ask and I'll give them to you. But because I definitely have them. I've been running a virtual team for a long time. And then we're going to talk about maintaining sales in the recession economy. So let's jump in. This is my crew. I am a mom to 5 boys. There are a lot of them. And when we walk around in public, people like, you know, the whole family together at first, they're like, wait, what? And then you can tell they're starting to count. How many are there? There's 5. My husband and I run our company together, and we run this business from home. We built it from the ground up. And so we've been virtual for a long time. So the reason I want to share this with you is a lot of the strategies that are like new business strategies to be able to continue to do business right now, you guys, none of them are new. The only thing that's new is how fast you have to implement. That's the only thing that's new. So everything that it takes to make business work right now is tried and true and proven. These are strategies that have been in play for a long time. I've been using them for a long time because when I launched my business, this little sour-faced kid who like refuses to smile in pictures, he was 6 weeks away from being born. So I had a brand new newborn. I had an 18-month-old. I had a kindergartner, a second grader, and a 5th grader when I launched my company. And I ran a virtual business from the very get-go because like I couldn't do anything else. Like it was my only option that was on the table. It was either figure out how to build an empire without actually having to be face-to-face with people, or we're not going to do this business because there are too many babies hanging around me all the time. So I absolutely know it can be done, and I'm excited to share with you some of the strategies. I'd really love to hear from you in the chat, each of you right now. What do you feel like is the number one challenge that you're having with acquiring clients in this new world where we can't really be face-to-face? Even though I do live in Georgia, and apparently bowling is a safe activity because we can go bowling and we can go to the hair salon and the nail salon. And I'm like, really? Those are our top priorities, huh? Bowling. Great to know. Like, who goes bowling anymore? I go like once a year. Okay, so attracting clients is one. Let's hear some more. What are the biggest challenges that you guys are having? Speaking to the right person, addressing their resistance to spending money. That is so good, Amanda. We're going to talk about that for sure. And keep putting them in, you guys. I'm like gathering the information in my brain, and we'll make sure we get to all of them. Okay, Valerie, that's yours too. Got it. All right, here's the first secret I want to teach you. This is not a 3-month issue. A lot of business owners, I think, are trying to wait it out, right? Like if I can just wait it out, then I can get through. And so, you know, we had March, we had April. Now we're all hoping that we're going to be coming back, you know, sometime May-ish. And so I think a lot of business owners have been thinking, I just wait it out, hang in there, tighten the belt straps, get through the 3 months. It's not a 3-month issue. We're going to have 3 waves of how this quarantine affects our business. So phase 1 is quarantine. So phase 1 is like, okay, we got to tighten the belt straps. We got to figure out what our game plan is. You know, I hope you all got your PPPs. I got mine, but a lot of people didn't. And so, you know, it's kind of like this hunker down mentality. But that's not going to cut it for us because wave 2 that's coming is limited interaction. How many of you have had the conversations with people of like, so when are you going to start going out again? You know, and they're like, well, I'm waiting a long time, or I'm going to be out tomorrow. Like everyone's going to be different. So there is going to be this phase of limited interaction where I think even once things are open, we're going to be encouraged to like not gather in big groups, and people are going to be aware of where they're going and where they're not going, and how they engage and interact. And then we're going to hit phase 3, which, by the way, you guys, they are predicting a flare up again in the fall. So, you know, like we need to be prepared, right? And then phase 3 is the new normal. And this is what I want you to focus on entirely. How do you make your business relevant for the new normal? Because if you can be relevant for the new normal, you'll sail through quarantine and you'll sail through limited interaction. Let's be honest, you guys, how many of you are like digging parts of quarantine? I legit am. Like I did my hair for you guys today. I wish I knew how to do like scarves because I wouldn't have had to do my hair. But like I am legit digging parts of quarantine and not, yep, DeKesha's with me, like not having to get dressed up all the time. I am loving not having to run my kids around every single day after school to all the places. Like I feel like I was born for this life, you know, like there are parts of it that I am digging. Yeah, don't tell the kids that we don't love the sports, but I'm like really, DeKesha, your kids though are good. My kids, like, I watch them because I love them. My kids are not, they're not athletes. So there are parts for sports. Yeah. Well, we've got that cumulatively over all of them, but I will tell you the most painful thing is watching a kid who's super bad, but still having to sit through the entire game.
Oh my God.
Like, it's painful. My kids are very musically talented. They're very academically talented, but the sports gene skipped all but one. So anyway, okay. So what I want you guys to understand is that people are going to change. Our consumer behavior is going to change. The way that we engage and we interact and we communicate, all that's going to change. So we need to be really on the cutting edge of that change so that we can sail through all of this. You guys, my business, my marketing has never been better. Best marketing quarter ever in the history of my company has been right now. Like, we got leads flying in. I have more people reaching out. I'm like, I can't even handle any more leads. Let me process the ones I've got. Reach out to me in a couple months. We have so many things going on. We have sales going on and people are converting, and we've had to tweak every piece of the funnel. But because we're doing it proactively, instead of having to wait a long time, like, we're getting it now. And that's what I want you to do, is I want you to shorten the curve of adjustment. And if any of you are like, ugh, that sounds hard. Yes, do it anyway. Like, can we just say that? Yes, it's hard. Do it anyway. Okay, so secret number 2 is that consumerism has not decreased. If you guys think that people are not spending, I want to invite you to go to Walmart and look at the toilet paper aisle. People are spending. How many of you have bought things online in the last couple of weeks? I have. Have you been to Home Depot? I don't know about where you guys live, but where I live, Home Depot is like the new place to go. Like, it is packed, and everybody's buying gardening stuff, and like they are buying, but they are buying differently. How many of you would agree that you've bought stuff in the last couple of weeks or month that maybe you wouldn't have bought otherwise, but now is a priority? Can you agree with that? The new mop came in the mail. I love it. So, yep, place the order and heading to Home Depot after the call. Yes, we're buying still. This idea that people are not buying is not accurate, but we are buying differently. So we're going to dig into that. And just to kind of give you some ideas, Walmart sales are up 20% from last year. Their online sales are up 80%. They've hired 11,000 new employees. Amazon sales are up. Liquor sales are up 75%. Gourmet coffee sales are up. Shirt sales are up, which my husband was like, why are shirt sales up and pants sales are down? I was like, because we don't have to wear them. Webinar life. Like, that made complete sense to me. Course sales are up. Any kind of streaming platform, they're up. So we got a lot of great things going on there. Here's secret number 3. The businesses that will win are the ones that pivot and adjust the best. And that's what we're really going to dig into here. I don't want any of you to be this guy. Do not bury your head in the sand and think, I'll just wait it out. That's not what we're going to do. We're going to be very proactive, and we're going to make a lot of adjustments in a short period of time, and we're going to rock our businesses. So this is my motto in life. I tell it to my kids pretty much every day when it's time to do chores, which is easy now, hard later, hard now, easy later. A lot of businesses that I see, they're kind of like, well, it's, we're just going to wait. We're just going to wait, and then we'll come in and we'll work really hard when we get back to normal. Their business is going to have a long time getting back to normal, and they're still going to have to make those same changes. Or you can dig in, you can do the hard work now, restructure your client acquisition plan, and you will find that your transition back in is easier. You'll get back on track faster. And the other thing is, people will go out of business and you can capture their business. Like, your competition is not all going to make it. The ones that will make it are the ones who are really doing well with their business strategies. And I'm not saying that to be unfeeling. I'm just saying that because that happens every time you go through in history. Every time there's a recession, the people who didn't really have their systems together, they fade into the background, and the ones who are innovative, they move to the forefront. And some of our best companies right now were all birthed out of the 2008 recession, right? Do you guys know any of those? Which ones they were? If you know some of them, put them in the chat. Because like, some of my favorite businesses came out of the 2008 recession. Airbnb, Uber, yep, Lyft. There's a ton of them. Every time we come into this challenge, it's a two-headed coin. So yeah, there's some challenges right now in business. I don't want to minimize those. And I don't want to make it sound like if you're having challenges that there's something wrong with you and your strategy. Like, you guys, when this quarantine first happened, I lost $10,000 a month in reoccurring revenue within a day. Like, it was like, oops, that's gone. Okay, so nobody's immune to the challenge, but we can either look at it and we can dwell on the challenge, or we can say, where's the opportunity, and we can go after it. So here are 3 questions I want you all to be asking yourselves to find out where the opportunity is. Number 1, what problems are my clients facing right now? Okay, not what problems were they facing 3 months ago, because it's a different set of problems. My problems today are different than they were 3 months ago. So what are they facing today? Second question is, what services do they need and cannot get? And third question is, what would make my client's life happier and easier during this challenging season? So think through those 3, and that's where the opportunity is. So right now, you're going to want to make some adjustments. Let's talk about some of the adjustments we can make. Okay. Number 1 thing that we can adjust is we can adjust our offer. I have redone my program guide in the last month. And the reason why is because even though I'm teaching a lot of the same things in my programs, people don't feel like right now, because you guys, I'm the kind of person, like, I want everything to be the way it should be. I want you to build your marketing and your sales plan, and I want it to be perfect. But right now, people want it to be fast and effective, and they only want to do what works, and they're not wanting to invest time and energy into things that are going to help them in 2 years. Got it. Cool. I can adjust. I can totally adjust. I can focus on streamlined, simple systems. If that's what people want to buy right now, great. I'm so happy to do that. So we can adjust our offer. The second thing we can adjust is our delivery. How are we going to get our service in the hands of our clients? Let's talk about that just a bit here, because one of the things, and some of you do have in-person businesses, right? Like I saw, we have a psychotherapist on here. Some of you, like, your businesses are more in-person. And so a lot of how you created an amazing wow experience for your clients was because you did it because you were naturally there together, right? Like, you see them face to face. And so they get to see your office. They get to see the space that you work in. You give them the, cup of hot cocoa or coffee when they come in, and the water bottle. And so a lot of times the delivery, you create a wow experience when they're with you. You can still do that. You just have to think, how do I do that online? How do I create that wow experience when we're not face-to-face and we're not connected that way? Client acquisition strategy, I'm going to come into a little bit more, but we have to rethink how we're going to acquire the client and make it as streamlined and simple as possible. You're going to want to rethink your virtual communication and your team, how you're interacting with them, and then your operating costs. And here's the deal. A lot of business owners right now are looking at operating costs first. They're like, okay, I need to pivot, cut my cost, tighten those belt straps. I'm always a fan of cutting costs, as long as you're not cutting costs that produces for you. And so what I see and I am concerned about right now is that in people tightening the belt straps, they're tightening in the wrong areas. Like, don't cut costs in marketing and sales right now. Cut costs in other areas, and find ways to look at the budget, but make sure that you're not, like, cutting off the flow of future business. You guys know what I'm talking about there? Does that make sense to everybody? If that makes sense, just go ahead and type, got it, Amy. And if you need more explanation, I'm happy to give it. Okay, we got it. Sweet, sweet. You guys are geniuses. I love it. Okay, so adjusting your offers. Here's a couple of ideas of what you can do here. Focus on what sells right now. Look at adjusting your payment terms, then look at lowering prices. So for example, I have split my services into 2 phases. Okay, I have split them into acquiring the client is phase 1, and then scaling the business is phase 2. Ideally, I like doing those at the same time. Like, let's acquire the client and scale up the business. Let's do it faster. But right now, people don't want to buy everything because they're having a hard time seeing that far in the future, and they have an immediate problem they need to solve. Sweet, I will split the service. No big deal. Can you look at adjusting your payment terms? I love when people pay in full. You know what? Right now, I'm doing payment plans. Like, I'm going to make it as easy as possible for you to say yes in a way that works for you. Then look at lowering prices. A lot of people, I've seen a lot of sales online, and I got to be honest, it concerns me every time I see one. Here's why. A sale will bring in quick cash, but it's not profitable cash. It decreases your profit margin, and it's not a sustainable model. It might get you through 1 month, but it's not going to get you through 5. It's not going to get you through 6. And so it's not a sustainable model. So instead of lowering prices, let's look at, what else can we do? Or if we're lowering prices, can we also lower deliverables? Can we do what I'm doing where I'm like, I'll split the service in half and I'll give you half for this price, which is easier to get into. Then we'll work on the rest of it. So look at and be strategic with adjusting your offers. And please don't just throw up sales like 50% off. Well, what does that profit margin look like? And how long can you sell at those rates before that actually is harming you? And sometimes when you're doing sales, you're actually stealing from tomorrow's sales because those clients who are buying at the sale price would have reordered at the full price. So we just need to be strategic with it. Any questions on adjusting your offers? Or if you've got it, just type in "got it." I know I'm cruising through a lot of info. I have a little bit of a fire hydrant experience from time to time where I have so much info in my brain, I want to give it all. Okay, delivery. How can you create a wow experience for your clients? We talked about that a little bit already. Managing a virtual team. Do any of you on here have a virtual team? Like you've got people working for you and you're trying to figure out, how to keep them all flowing better. Okay, so we got a couple who do have virtual teams, maybe small teams. If your team is virtual, and they're transitioning from in-person to virtual, my best tip for you is your weekly meetings and your daily reporting. That is my best tip for you, because otherwise what will happen is if your team is used to be in person and now they're all virtual, you will have people doing things like overlapping on projects, or one person's going one way and another one's going another way. So you need to make sure that you're really, really tight. And then one of my favorite tools that people don't use, like everybody uses Zoom, everybody uses Slack. I love Marco Polo. It's a video messaging app where you can message with your team back and forth and kind of replaces those conversations that we just have on the go as we see people face to face. So managing a virtual team is great. Okay, let's talk client acquisition. Client acquisition has 3 phases: lead capture, lead nurture, and client conversion. What your goal is to come up with the simplest strategy in order to get from one to the other, and the most cost effective. Right now, you want to be getting your leads as inexpensively as possible. How many of you would be excited about a lot of free leads? Anyone? Or just me? I get really excited about a lot of free leads. I just a week ago, got a 950 leads for free. I paid for them in my time and my effort, but we had no marketing budget to produce those. I have one of my funnels, and I'm going to share with you 4 different funnels that are all 6-figure funnels for me or for my clients. I haven't necessarily done every single one of these for me, but I have done them for me or my clients. So I'm going to share with you 4 different really simple funnels that you can use, and you can just kind of think about these. I'm not saying they have to be the ones you do, but one of them is doing a book and interviewing your ideal client for your book. Everybody likes to be interviewed. So you reach out to your ideal client using LinkedIn Sales Navigator. I love it. So you can research and find exactly who you're looking for, and then you reach out to them and you ask them if they would, tell them I'm writing a book on XYZ thing. I would love to interview you. And they will almost always say yes. It's great because it's an easy way to get to your ideal client. Another one is doing a podcast where you interview your ideal client. Another one is doing an assessment where you write out an assessment that really they can go through, and it's going to tell them exactly where their holes are in their business, and then you give them a customized improvement plan. That's a really easy way to get a yes as well. And then expert summits is my 4th. That's where you bring together a whole bunch of different experts, preferably who are your ideal client, but also who are followed by your ideal client. And together, you all promote this event. That's how I generated 950 leads, and in January I did 1,000. So these are 4 really simple strategies where it gets you to the conversation of your ideal client. Oh, it was 2 weeks ago. Time does not exist in this new world. I'm like, was it last month? Was it yesterday? I don't know. It happened. I'm always grateful when I show up at the right place at the right time. So what we want to do is we want to figure out for you what makes the most sense, because the hardest part is getting to the conversation. So if we can shorten that phase through a really good client acquisition plan, where basically you have an irresistible offer, something that you put on the front end that they want to say yes to, and that you know how to find your prospects, and that you have great reach out scripts, you can get to that point of conversation a whole lot faster. Then you develop a relationship with them. They get to know you. They're like, oh, this person actually knows what they're talking about. This makes sense to me. You've got some great value here. And then you just need a simple transition script to move them into asking them if they want to have a sales conversation and showing how you can help them. Then you're into the closing process, and we can get from, like start to finish, we can shorten that gap a whole lot if we're just really, really super specific. Does that make sense to all of you? This is really the critical piece here is we need to re-look at our client acquisition and make sure that we have a good game plan in place and then a system behind it. Because, how many of you, let's be honest, have ever thought, oh, I should start a podcast? Or, oh, I should host a summit. Or, oh, I should write a book. Like, we've all thought the thoughts. The difference between making it work for client acquisition and not is the process and the systems behind it. So we need to take a look at that right now and make sure that we have a good game plan in place to be able to get the right leads easily, simply, and inexpensively. Okay, I think I got one more slide and then I'm good to go, DeKesha, because I know I'm about out of time. I don't want to steal other people's time. Okay, so the 5 steps that it takes to acquire your client is your marketing materials, your visibility strategy, your lead capture, your lead nurture, and your sales experience. A great client acquisition plan has all 5 of those in place. And when people come to me and their client acquisition plan is broken, so either they're like, I just don't have enough people to work with, or I don't know where to find them, or I don't know how to attract clients in, or, I've got people to talk to, but I'm not closing. There's always something in this that's broken. Like maybe you've got great marketing materials, but not enough people are seeing them. Or maybe people are seeing it, but like you don't have a way to acquire the lead and then build that relationship with them. So this is another thing that we work with on client acquisition, is making sure that you have each part of that in place and a strategy so you can be extremely successful. So guys, I just want to leave you with a word of encouragement that it is happening still. Business is happening. People are buying, people are selling, they are shopping, they are building relationships, they are connecting more than ever before. I feel like it's easier to get a connection in a conversation now than it has been in a long time. So let's look at this as a great opportunity to redefine our businesses and be really hopeful that we're going to come out of this like strong. I fully intend to come out of this with my business stronger and better and more fun than it has ever been before. And I believe that's available for all of us. So DeKesha, I'm going to bring you back on and I'm happy to answer any questions that people have.
Oh my God, I totally agree. And I know you and I have had the opportunity to chat, and I agree. And I keep telling my audience the same thing, that people are still buying. Yep. I calculated since March 13th, which was the day that I picked up my daughter from school, we've closed over 20, probably more now. I'm going to say at least $25,000 in sales. And awesome. So we ended up hiring someone to do outbound calls. We did over 400 calls, 15 appointments, and we are still enrolling people into our Get It Done coaching program, still selling implementation packages. So it all depends on positioning, and knowing what your clients want. So I stand behind everything Amy has said, because people are still investing in where they see value. So
I just want to point out something with this, DeKesha. It was 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago when I was like, DeKesha, you just need to get a salesperson. And you did it. You did. This is what I'm talking about with speed of implementation right now. Like the only thing that I believe has changed is we have to implement change faster.
Yep.
And that's it. And so, all these ideas that you've been thinking about, you just have to push go and you have to jump in and get them done. I love that you did that. That's
I'm like, I am the type of person, I'm a student and I think it was like the third time that I heard sales team. You just need a sales team. I'm like, all right, let's go. I'm going to invest, right? I'm going to invest in my business. I'm going to, expand and scale and grow the business. And that's exactly what we did. And some of the people on here now probably were on the phone with me in the last 2 weeks. And that's what it's all about,
Awesome.
So I agree. Like, I had a conversation this week and they were like, well, because of COVID, like people are not buying. And I cut them off right there. I'm like, listen, that is actually not true. Stop it.
Right.
You must be talking to the wrong
Don't
person.
buy that story.
Yes.
Or watching the news, you guys, like, honestly, if you watch the news and you scroll through Facebook right now, like the sky is falling. But if you just actually start having conversations with people and like working in your greatness and spend your energy there, it still is a great time to be in business.
Really is. It really is. And I think we had this conversation too. And it's like, if you just keep going right now, when we get to the other side, and everything that you're sowing now, you'll reap on the other side.
Yes.
So you
absolutely.
can't stop. You have to keep sowing. You have to keep sowing that seed.
Yeah. And if you are freaking out, you guys, it's okay. I had my freak out moment. Trust me. In fact, DeKesha and I talked like right at the beginning of this. I think we were both freaking out a little bit. But yeah, we were both like, okay. But the thing is, you freak out and you still hustle, and you still continue to create, you still continue to innovate, and you will get to that point. And for me, it was like a 3-week pivot where I had to go through and rethink everything. But 3 weeks later, the cash was flowing again. So anyone who's like, oh, I need the cash flowing, what about 3 weeks later? What if in 3 weeks you had the cash flowing? Like, let's get that going. Believe that it's there for you.
I love it. So you have something special coming up that we are participating in this Monday and Tuesday, right? You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So on Monday and Tuesday, like as in next week, I'm doing a 2-day workshop on client acquisition strategies. And so I'm going to open up my playbook and I'm going to show you what the systems look like for doing a client acquisition podcast, a book project, an assessment project, an expert summit. And we're going to build from start to finish, like what's your irresistible offer look like, show you how to prospect and find them, which is so much easier than you think it is. We're going to work on your reach out scripts, like we're going to work on your conversion scripts, that whole process. And I will have a ton of templates for you because I'm definitely a systems girl. So we would love to have you come and join us. And I did give DeKesha 50% off tickets for her people.
So here's how you can get access to the upcoming. So we have a special link for you. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Let me see if I can go ahead and share my screen.
Oh, yeah, I think I have to stop sharing mine. I'm just sitting here. Yeah, do it.
So for those of you all that are, I don't want it to play because it might change the screen. So for those of you all that are interested in her 2-day event, we've got a special 50% off discount. And it's only through, because you're participating here in the summit, but you have to text the word summit to 804-298-2846. It's on the screen. So it's text the word summit to 804-298-2846. And I thought about it. I was like, well, she's speaking today. I was like, we totally need to talk about her event that's coming up Monday and Tuesday. Like it just makes sense.
Yeah.
And so
we're going to get so much done.
I cannot wait. I blocked out my schedule. No one can get on my schedule. You cannot see me until Wednesday or Thursday. But I'd love to have some of you guys. It is Monday and Tuesday, and it's from like 10 to 6, right?
May 4th and 5th, yes. And it's going to be 10 to 6. And you guys, it's not going to be the kind of training where I just talk at you the whole time. It's going to be a workshop. So we'll train and then we'll work on it and then we'll split into groups and you'll get feedback. And so it's going to be really good. I'm excited for it.
She's a lot like me. She does implementation. Like we have working sessions.
Get it done. Like I'm not that interesting to listen to that you need to listen to me for 2 days. Your business is really interesting and it needs to be worked on for 2 days. So let's just do it.
I love it. I love it. I love it. All right. So you're going to get a text in about maybe 20 minutes and it's going to give you the link. So make sure that you guys text in to Summit 804-298. I've got some texts already coming in. They're still coming in.
Love it.
804-298-2846. This is the only way that you can get access to the special link that gives you 50% off. I mean, crazy bananas. Like, y'all better join me. Okay?
Yep.
Awesome. All right. So let me stop sharing my screen. Thank you so much. I appreciate you coming on, Amy, and spending some time with us. Before we let you go, any questions that anyone may have?
Yeah, I think I see a cue in here. Sales team. Okay, how do you find the right person and where do you look? Sounds like great advice. Oh my gosh, it's the best, you guys, because you can pay your sales team on commission, right? So they literally generate their own paycheck. So my favorite hiring place for sales team is on Indeed, but I will tell you, don't just go and post something on Indeed until you have your client acquisition plan in place. Otherwise, what will happen is you will hire them and they will leave because salespeople don't like to build systems. They just don't. They want to get in and they want to be able to get the deal done quickly. So you have to lay a little bit of groundwork for them. But honestly, everybody should be hiring a salesperson right now. The other thing is, oh my gosh, I just got the 2 best sales hires that I have gotten in years because salespeople right now are looking for jobs. A lot of them have been selling in industries that like are kind of on the downside right now. So they're out there looking for anything that's on the up, and you can get some great talent right now.
I love it. I still have text messages coming in.
Nice.
Any other questions before we move it on? All right, going once, going twice. All right, and thank you again so much, Amy. I think my friend Darian is here now. We're gonna shift this conversation over to Facebook ads. All right, let me see. Where is my island friend? There he is. There he is. Gotta unmute yourself. What's up?
Here. Hey, what's going on, champion? I am here.
Yes.
How's everybody doing today?
I am loving it. Like, oh my God, like it's actually going by way too fast. Like, this is a lot of information. So you guys, kudos to you for still hanging in there, regardless whether you're hanging out with us on Facebook. You guys are here in Zoom. You get special love because guess what? You took action. You actually registered. You took action. And so I appreciate you guys still hanging in there. Darian is like the man. Like, I'm always in his inbox. Like, Darian, like, this is what I'm doing. So he has been the one that has helped me. He's been the one that's helped me put out strategy. So he had to be a part of the summit because this is how you grow and scale your business. So I got to do right. Hold on a second. Let me pull up your bio really quick so that they can know who Darian is. All right, let me see what I have. Darian Hill is passionate about inspiring individuals to unleash their inner champion. He was born in the beautiful Caribbean island of Antigua. In 1996, he received a track and field scholarship to Murray State University in Kentucky, where he received his degree in marketing. He is an international speaker and founder of Smart Growth Marketing, a digital marketing agency that helps coaches, speakers, and service-based entrepreneurs increase their impact, influence, and income by leveraging social media advertising. Whew. He has trained over 100 banking professionals from companies such as SunTrust, I used to work there, BMO, Harris, BB&T, and how to leverage social media to increase client acquisition, and has been featured on Central Florida News 13 as a social media correspondent. Listen, if that doesn't tell you right there that we have the one and the only Darian Hill talking about Facebook ads, y'all better get ready. Like I said, as a matter of fact, let me turn my piece of paper over so I have a clean piece of paper and get ready. But he is here.
You are something else. He
is going to give us, I already know he's going to give us some great information. I always learn when I listen to him. So I know y'all tired of hearing my voice. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Darian.
Well, thank you. Appreciate it, DeKesha. And to the listening audience, welcome. First of all, I want to honor you for showing up, because to be able to achieve your goals, to be able to pivot, to be able to take advantage of the opportunities that's here today in this new economy, we got to show up. We got to keep showing up and keep showing up. So I want to honor you today for doing that. And so I'm excited because today I'm going to be sharing with you how to leverage Facebook, of course, we talked about LinkedIn, we've talked about client acquisition, we've talked about branding today. And so I love it because I get to take a lot of the information you've heard and show you how to apply that within a system so that you can connect with your ideal target audience and then turn them into a sale. So absolutely. I just want to confirm that I'm all set. DeKesha. Looks like I don't know if you've...
I'm here. You should be good to go. You should actually be able to share your screen.
All right. Let me go ahead and share my screen. And let me know if we have questions or anything. So if you're hearing the accent, that's like DeKesha said, I'm originally from Antigua, so not Jamaica. So a lot of people say, is he from Jamaica? No, originally from Antigua. So all right, let me go ahead and share the screen and we'll just get started because I know we have a lot of information to cover in a very short time. So like I said, I'm excited to share with you my 3-step smart Facebook ad framework to create success. That's right, success in this new economy. Now, as DeKesha mentioned, I've had the pleasure and honor of working with many coaches, authors, speakers, and service entrepreneurs, individuals like Chalene Johnson, who's a fitness guru. Even in the political arena, I've actually dipped my foot in the political arena, helping a local politician get reelected, not just once, but twice, utilizing some of the same strategies I'm going to share with you today. I work with entrepreneurs and investors such as David Imanitier, who's building a huge empire called Believe Nation and impacting over 1 billion lives through what's happening right now in this economy. But listen, but what really excites me is this. This excites me. We know that right now, because of the change in economy, right? Because of the change in economy, because of COVID, there is a reality that all of us have to pivot. We all have to make new decisions for their life. And I remember there was a time in 2004 when I had a very successful business. And after running that business for a couple of years, had the unfortunate situation of having a business partner decide that he wanted to do other things. And so that business literally failed. And because of that event, literally that was a defining moment for me. It was a defining moment where I had to start to ask myself new questions. It was a defining moment because I'd lost my self-confidence. It was a defining moment because I'd gone through a state of depression and I started to peel back the layers of myself, my business, so that I can literally start to do what I'm doing today. And one of the great decisions that I made was I invested in myself. I invested in myself, and that's what helped me to start the process of getting back into marketing and business. And so what I love to do today is to help businesses who are going through challenging times, who are going through, decisions and making decisions to either slow down and help them to keep moving forward. And so what I want to show you here is one of the things we've been helping our clients to do is those who have been, making decisions to slow down, help them to say yes and move forward. And so right now, you may be questioning yourself as to whether or not you should invest in your advertising, you should invest in your marketing. And I'm here to tell you that regardless of the circumstances you're going through, regardless of where you are in your business, you're just one decision away from seeing new profits and revenues in your business. So here's an example of one of my clients who we helped recently. She was considering canceling her challenge. And because of our encouragement, because of the systems and because of the confidence she had in us, we would help her to literally enroll over 30 people into a high ticket program by utilizing our ad system I'm going to share with you today, okay? So you want to be encouraged that, listen, people are still buying. As Amy mentioned before, people are still buying. People are still investing in themselves. And there are things that you definitely want to do to pivot, like extending your payments and making adjustments and things like that. But the reality is people want to see you show up. They're looking to hear your voice. Here's another client that we work with, a local pediatrician who was on the verge of literally closing her doors because, quite frankly, no one can come to the location. And so we helped her to rethink her services and find opportunities within her business to be able to start to promote things like immune medicine. A lot of the conversation shifted from, we're scared about COVID, how can we increase our immune system? So we started to push more content around immune system and also push more of her virtual visit programs. Utilizing ads, you can see people here purchasing her packages, things like that. So people are still buying in this time. And so I want to encourage you to keep pushing forward, keep showing up and make those necessary pivots so you can generate results. So here, this may sound familiar to you. So maybe you've tried Facebook ads in the past and you can never really get any specific results, okay? Maybe you know that your business literally depends on getting quality leads and making sales, but you're not really sure where to turn for a particular strategy. Or maybe everyone is telling you, listen, Facebook ads is great, or maybe it's too expensive or it's cheap, but ultimately you still don't know how to leverage Facebook advertising for your business, okay? So I wanna really emphasize something that's very, very key. The reality today is that Facebook ads are cheaper than they've ever been. They're cheaper than they've ever been. And there are more people on Facebook today because of what's happened with the economy, because of what's happening with COVID. So that now presents a great opportunity for you to jump into Facebook with the right strategy and generate results. While everyone is leaving Facebook, that's why it's so cheap, because everybody's pulling the plug and they're leaving Facebook because they're running to the hills. While everyone is running, you want to equip yourself with a strategy and keep pressing forward. As DeKesha said, you want to keep planting seeds. So I want to share with you how you keep planting those seeds strategically so that you can generate the right type of results, okay? So here's one of my favorite quotes. My favorite quote from Wallace Wallace. Here's what he said. He says that people don't get what they want by doing certain things. They get what they want by doing certain things in a certain way. Now I want to underscore something that he said real quick, because this is really powerful. Is that we don't get what we want by doing certain things. We get what we want by doing certain things in a certain way. So there's a certain way, there's a syntax, there's an order to things. I'm sure you've heard the old saying that success leaves clues, right? So there is a process to generating results, and there's a process to having success on social media and Facebook. So the reason why many people are not having success is because they're not following a process. And so I want to introduce you to this concept called my SMART method. Now you may be asking, Darren, why SMART, right? The SMART stands for this. It starts for strategic message at the right time. Let me say it again. It stands for strategic message at the right time. We all know that most people who are not having success on social, when it comes to paid advertising, when it comes to LinkedIn, when it comes to any marketing, is because they boil down to the fact that they don't have the right strategy. Okay, let's face it. They don't have the right strategy, maybe don't have the right clarity of vision, and they're not taking consistent action. But the reality is, when it comes to social, it's about the messaging. Okay, you have to connect with the right target audience, yes, but you have to have the right message, and this is the key. You have to have the right message at the right time. So you may be asking, Darren, at the right time, what are you talking about? What do you mean by the right time? Let me explain. I'm gonna get to it. All right, so let me introduce you to something called the buyer's journey. Now, if you think about it, every consumer goes through these 3 stages to make a purchasing decision. If you think about yourself, if you're a coach, if you are a business owner, you've come to a point in your journey of your life where you ran into some sort of problem, right? You became aware that, oh my goodness, there's a problem. A problem could be, listen, if I don't do something right now, I may be out of business by next month. If I don't start to implement a client acquisition system, then guess what? I won't have any leads, right? You all of a sudden realize that you have a problem. So that's for the first part of the buyer's journey is called the awareness stage. So the first stage is awareness. You become aware that you have a problem. And then you go through this consideration. You start to consider all the options. Okay, I have a problem. What do I do? You start asking yourself these questions. You start looking at different things. Maybe you're going to Google. Maybe you're going to your networks. Maybe you're calling up your coach. You're considering all the options because your goal is to solve this particular problem, right? And then after you've evaluated the problem, after you've considered everything, then you ultimately make a decision, okay? And so that's the steps, the stages that your buyer and all of us go through when making a decision. Number one, we have some sort of pain, we have some sort of problem, we become aware of it. Then we start considering, how do we solve this, right? What is the best and fastest way to solve this? Maybe the cheapest way to solve it, right? Whatever your buying criteria is. And then last but not least, we make a decision. And so that's the process we go through. So this is relevant. Why? Because understanding this is really the key to developing your overall strategy, your success strategy to win with Facebook advertising. And here's the reason why. Let me tell you why. Bianca talked about this before, that people are not on social media, on Facebook, necessarily looking to buy something. She's absolutely right. Especially Facebook is like the water cooler. People are there hanging out, sharing content, connecting with their friends, their family. But the reality is there still is a selling opportunity, because where people are gathered, you have a millions amount of people who are on Facebook, and the reality is they have different levels of awareness of problems in their life. As they're going through the journey of life, they're going to run into a problem, okay? And so there's an opportunity for you to connect with them in a strategic way to help them to, one, become aware of a problem, and then move them through the decision process. So here's the thing though. People hate to be sold, that is true, but they certainly love to discover new things. And one of the principles for smart growth marketing is that you want to serve to sell. Okay, so this is how you're able to do selling on social media, because social media is a relationship platform. Okay, it's a relationship platform. So you don't want to be selling initially on social. You want to serve first to sell. One of the biggest mistakes I see many of the clients that come to me make is they're trying to sell initially on an offer. Now, granted, there's some offers that you can initially sell with social media, because if it's a low ticket offer, if it's low enough, and you do the right things with your messaging, you can certainly sell initially from social, right? We've had conversions from social with great messaging, but typically people who you connect with initially on social are not ready to buy. They are still in the awareness stage, and there's a process that you want to take them through to generate real results, okay? So here's the 3-step smart method that you want to take your prospects through to guarantee that you're going to generate results. And so step 1 is you want to capture your audience attention. Remember, in that top part of the triangle, right, that awareness stage, that's where you have an opportunity to have strategic positioning. That's the opportunity for you to connect with them, to bring awareness to a problem that they may have. Or that may be an opportunity for you to address a problem that they currently have, right? So you want to capture their specific attention. The next thing is, after you capture their attention, your job with your advertising is to then move them through a process where you start to nurture the relationship. It's not enough to connect with them initially, right? It's not enough to have that initial virtual handshake. It's important that you now have a structure, a process to then move them into what we call the nurturing step, okay? And then last but not least, you monetize that relationship. So first, you are capturing your audience attention. You want to grab their attention in the awareness stage. You nurture them through those considerations. And then, of course, when they're making a decision, you monetize that relationship. So those are 3 steps. So over the next couple of slides, we're going to spend some time looking at what does that look like. I'm going to give you some case studies of clients that I've worked with and give you some very tactical things that you can do today to be able to capture their attention, nurture your client's relationship, and ultimately, which is what we want, to be able to create consistent leads and ultimately sales, okay? So DeKesha, if we have some questions coming in while I'm going through the presentation, just stop me and let me know. But I see some coming through. So I want to stop here before we move forward and see if there's any specific questions. Can everyone hear me? Am I coming through clear?
Loud and clear, mic check.
Mic check, all set.
All I see is I can't wait to hear how to move through the process.
Okay, under the sound of my voice.
Everyone under the sound of my voice, are we ready to move forward?
I love it. Okay, so let's keep it moving. All right, so let's talk about the step 1, okay, capturing your audience attention. All right, so the question is, how do you capture your audience attention effectively? And this is where I want to spend a lot of time, because in today's shifting economy and today's shifting times, we need to recognize that this is where we have the biggest opportunity. In fact, what I tell my clients is that you should always be running ads trying to capture your audience attention. You should always be running advertising to be able to build your audience. Build your audience of people who that you're capturing their attention all the time. And so what does that look like? So I want to basically run on a couple of things. So audience awareness is about capturing that attention. That's what we call the top of the funnel. This is your first engagement with a client. So your objective here is to make that initial connection with your audience. So how do you do that? You do that by, 1, being relatable. Number 2 is you want to start to utilize things like why videos. One of my favorite authors, who is Simon Sinek, says, people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. And so here's an example of how you can do that. So I worked with a local medical facility here in Orlando, Dr. Carosella. I met him, and he was an orthopedic surgeon for 25 years. And, I sat with him and I said, listen, you're running a hormone and wellness facility. How did you get into this business? And he said, listen, a few years ago, my wife went into menopause. And, of course, that radically shifted our relationship, radically shifted her life and everything. And so we went down the path to try to find a solution, and we couldn't find anything. And then, by miracle, we found this doctor who prescribed this thing called BHRT. And my wife went through the process, and it radically transformed her life. So when he saw that transformation in his wife, he said, wow, this is the kind of transformation, this is the kind of impact that I want to make on lives. And so he literally shut down his practice, retrained, went back to school and retrained to become a hormone and wellness doctor. And I said, man, that's an amazing story. We got to share that. And the reason why you want to share that is because stories connect. So to be able to capture someone's attention, you can leverage your why story to be able to connect with your audience. Because the deeper your connection with the audience, when they get from that awareness to the decision, guess what? If they have 3 options, they're going to always choose the person who they have the deepest relationship with. You always want to remember that. Your equity in the relationship, the depth of the equity in the relationship will always determine your level of conversions. And so you want to start the process with your virtual handshake by connecting, being relatable, sharing your why story. So we put together this video where him and his wife sat down in the office and told their story for like 5 minutes. And we shared this on Facebook. And we got it out in front of the target audience. And you should see the amount of engagement that we received, the number of women who are also sharing their stories, who are moved by the story. And as a result, we even got calls just from this ad. But, of course, that was not the initial intention, but clearly, because it was so impactful, people connected with the message and they wanted to learn more about Dr. Carrizella. And so that in your journey, in your business, how can you put together, whether it be videos or blogs or some sort of content piece where you're sharing your story, where you're connecting with the audience? Because if you're a coach, if you're in the transformational space, oftentimes the journey that you've been on, your audience is trying to go from where you used to be to where you are right now. And so by sharing your story, you're able to demonstrate to your audience and make a deeper connection, because people are always looking to find people who understand their problem and their unique situation. I want you to remember this. People don't buy because they understand what you do. People buy because they feel understood. Let me repeat that. People don't buy because they understand what you do. People buy because they feel understood. And when you share your story and your story relates to their story, they feel like you clearly can understand them. So sharing your story can be a powerful, powerful way to get your connection. So sharing videos with your story can be great, and also using story copy. So if you don't want to share your story in video, you can also share your story in the copy. So the copy is above the actual image right here. We've shared long form stories for clients where we've been able to get conversions of $1.50 on campaigns, right? And to put that in perspective, typically where conversion would cost you $10, because of the story was so relevant to the audience, we'll get it $1.50. So that's how powerful those connections and those stories can be. So number one is tell stories. The other thing that you can do, and move my slides along, is to capture attention, is speak to your audience problems, of course, frustrations and desires. And I know many of the other speakers already kind of talked about this more strategically. I want to share with you our client, Mr. Andy Enriquez. He's a business storytelling coach. And what we did with his particular campaign in the awareness phase is we already knew that his audience was looking for a particular transformation. The outcome that they wanted was to increase conversions. They wanted more sales. And so we wanted the first step to engage with them to touch on that outcome of desire that they wanted. And so if you see here, the ad actually says, if you consider yourself an influencer, speaker, coach, and an entrepreneur, there are 3 very powerful questions you need to become excellent at answering to increase your conversion. So what do we do there? We actually build it out of curiosity, because why? What are these questions that I need to be answering to help increase the conversion, to get the result that I'm looking for? You see how that captured their curiosity? And so you want to be doing it as well. What are some of the things that you can put in place to address your audience problems, frustrations, and desires? You want to hint at those things and provide content and value and educate your audience to capture their attention. So those are 2 specific things that you can do. Number one is tell your story, and of course, address and speak to your audience problem that they're facing right now. All right, let's move it along, because I know we don't have a lot of time. So step number 1 was to make sure that you are capturing your audience attention, right? You want to capture your attention by telling stories and addressing an audience problem. So step number 2 is nurture the relationship. So after you connect with a person, your responsibility now is to make sure that you put them in a database. And we don't have time to go through all of the different ways you can do that today, but you certainly can capture people who are watching your videos. You want to also capture people who are visiting your Facebook page. You want to capture people who are visiting your website. And there are ways that Facebook allows you to do that, so you can track those individuals. So you want to add tracking pixels onto your website. You want to be able to go inside the ads manager and be able to put your audience in buckets, like how many people watch 25% of my video, how many people watch 50% of my video. There's so many ways that you can put your audience in a bucket so that you can control the follow-up and move them to the next step, and which is step 2, to nurture the relationship. So what does nurturing a relationship look like? The goal here is that you want to now focus on building trust, rapport, and authority. So you got their attention, you got their curiosity, they're thinking to themselves, okay, all right, I see this person potentially can solve my problem. They've certainly addressed an issue that I want to solve. So how do I move forward? All right, so here's some additional messaging. Here's where you now want to be addressing some of the frequently asked questions that your audience will have. Because as soon as we run into a problem, guess what we have now? Guess what comes next? We have a list of questions. We have a list of concerns, right? And so you can be proactive in addressing those things in your messaging so that you can be building rapport and moving that person along the buyer's journey. So in this case, with Dr. Carazella, after telling that story, what do we know? We know that women were going to be asking themselves about, what is this thing called BHRT? What is this thing called hormone replacement therapy? So we ran an ad basically to those people who already watched the first video saying, are you wondering if hormone therapy is right for you, right? Here you can be doing things like quizzes. Here's things you can be doing, things like lead generation, right? But the goal is to be able to start to pique the curiosity and answer the questions that they have and move them to the next step. And so we did a video, and of course, a lot of individuals women were clicking on the video, clicking on the ad, going to the next step by downloading his free report, which is what we created. And we also created a quiz as well, which was converting very well. So you want to definitely be looking at, how can I be putting together content? And that content could be video, it could be articles that you are answering those frequently asked questions for your clients. And here's a great resource. Some of you may be thinking, well, Darian, I really don't know what my clients are asking. Well, number one, you should ask them. And then secondly, there's a resource that you can use called answerthepublic.com. It's a free resource. So you go to answerthepublic.com and you type in your keywords. And so when you type in your keywords, it's an aggregator, and it goes out to Google and all the different search engines, and it pulls the questions that people are asking into the system. So literally, you now have all these questions that people are asking about your service, about your product, and you can utilize those questions and create 2-minute videos, 3-minute videos, and answer those questions for your clients. So it's a great resource called answerthepublic.com. Here's another thing. Some of you talked about earlier that, you want to also get your clients to get off the fence, right? To help them to make a decision. You can do that by proactively addressing some of their beliefs. Here's what I know. If someone has a certain belief about their inability to be able to take a certain action, they won't take that action. Case in point, Andy Enriquez, he's a storytelling coach. And so one of the things in his messaging is that we always want to address the question that people always have, or the belief people have, that their story doesn't really matter, or that their story can't really lead to a conversion. So you want to be addressing the false beliefs at this stage so that when they get to the decision stage, you've already addressed the hurdle, the stopping point in their mind so that they can move forward. So if you don't address these things, if you don't address the false belief they have, such as, my story doesn't matter, my story is not as good as other person's story, or not that important, or not that valuable, or in whatever case, whatever beliefs your particular audience has, if you're not addressing those things, that could be the reason why you're not converting as high as you want to convert, okay? So address those specific beliefs. So here's some things that we did with Andy Enriquez here in terms of consideration. This is where you also want to be doing things like transitional offers, those lead magnets, those freemiums. You've heard these things before, right? So doing free video trainings and checklists and reports and webinars. And specifically with the pivoting, we're all using Zoom, or we're in Zoom right now. So bring people into Zoom presentations, right? It's a very powerful way to, continue to nurture the conversation. Bring people into a Zoom conversation and have answer questions there. So maybe it's not on Facebook. Maybe it's inviting them to a Zoom call just to address some questions that they may have. And that's a powerful way to be able to move the relationship forward so you can generate success, okay? Do we have any questions so far, DeKesha?
I don't think I see any questions.
All right, not yet. All right, so let's keep it rolling. All right, fantastic. So here's some content ideas or questions that you could be asking yourself that will help you to generate some content pieces specifically for the consideration phase. So what are the top 5 most frequent questions your market asks you or others? What are top frustrations your market has about their particular situation? Or what topics are they thinking about or talking about right now? And of course, use the news, right? If there's something hot in the news right now related to your product or your service, you want to be in that conversation. So if you want to start to take a picture of this right now, go ahead and do so. I'll give you guys just a quick second to take a picture of this particular slide because this really is one of the foundational pieces to be able to generate content. I know so often people say, what should I talk about? What should I talk about? What type of video should I do? And because they haven't answered that particular question, they don't produce enough content, hence they don't connect enough, hence they don't get enough conversions, okay? So take a quick picture of this slide and then we'll move on to the next step really quickly here. All right, so we do the dun, 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 dun.
So usually when I give them permission to take a picture of the slide, I have to let them give me a warning so I can pose, because they might be posting this stuff somewhere. So I'm like, hold on before you take a picture.
Oh, that's right. Let's make sure let me make sure I give you my good side.
Right, like you gotta show a dimple or something when they take a picture.
Oh my goodness, fantastic. All right, so I hope you guys had the opportunity to take the pictures there, and we're gonna keep it rolling because, like I said, I have a lot to cover, and I know we have a short space of time. So, all right, so let's keep it moving. So we've talked about capturing their attention, and we talked about nurturing the client relationship. Now we want to monetize, right? We want to monetize that relationship. So again, because of the power of Facebook, because you're able to capture people watching the videos, because you're able to track people who go to your landing page. And of course, if you're generating leads, you can also take those emails and you can re-upload those into Facebook and market to those people as well. You certainly can be marketing to people who land on your landing pages or your thank you pages and all of that sort. So there's such a great opportunity to be able to segment your audience based upon their behavior and based upon how deep are they in the relationship with you. So if someone has watched only a few seconds of your video, you're certainly going to communicate to them differently than someone who's watched all of your video, or someone who's gone to your website, or someone who's on your list. So there's a different relationship based upon where they are in the journey with you. So that's very, very key. So let's talk about monetizing the relationship, okay? So monetizing the relationship, here's essentially the key factor. To monetize, what you're really trying to do is you're trying to provide evidence. You're trying to validate the person's decision. At this particular stage, you're making offers, but the key thing is to wrap your offers in validation. Let me say it again, wrap your offers in validation. People are always looking to see what other people are doing to make a decision, okay? So if you think about yourself, you are trying to pick a restaurant and you're driving down the road and you see one restaurant has a line around the corner and one only has one person in line, you're automatically going to think that, wow, that restaurant with the line around the corner, they must be really, really good. And so you want to be able to utilize this opportunity to tell your client stories. Again, back to stories again. Telling your client stories can be a powerful, powerful way to be able to help to validate your audience need to have evidence and lower the risk for that commitment, okay? So utilizing things like image or video carousel ads, or even case studies. You've seen some of the speakers talk about case studies as they've gone through their slides. Very, very important to demonstrate that in your marketing, because people are always asking that question. Can this person really solve my problem, right? Have they solved the problem for people just like me, right? Can they solve my problem? So you answer that particular question that they have in their mind by demonstrating your expertise, by showcasing people you've already worked with. So what we did with Dr. Carosella, after taking people through stories, after driving them to lead and answering their questions, we know we're utilizing video testimonials to demonstrate that the person had an experience that was very, very successful. To answer the question that the prospect had, which is, can this person really solve my problem? I know they introduced a story, I know they talked about the solution, but can they help me? Can they help my unique situation? So by putting out video testimonial, by putting out case studies, by wrapping your offers in validation, it's going to help you to be able to increase and monetize that relationship and drive them to the next step. So maybe your next step is to get on a phone call, right? To schedule a consultation, which is, in this case, was Dr. Carizella's situation. We wanted to get some appointments to the office. And so we're driving people directly with a phone number and to a landing page so they can schedule. Maybe it's to, enroll people into your online course. Again, people are always going to look for validation to move forward. In fact, if you have landing pages and you don't have a ton of testimonials on your landing page, that's the number one reason why they may not be converting, because people are always looking to see what people are saying as a reason to move forward. Okay, so you want to make sure that you leverage that specific need in your advertising. So we ran video testimonials, and you can also do video testimonials as well. There's a really cool app that I just discovered. This is a gem. This is a huge gem. It's called Video Ask. It's videoask.com, right? And essentially, you can use your cell phone and you can record a video, and then you can email a link to your clients, and they can use their cell phone and send you back a testimonial. It's one of the easiest and simple ways to be able to collect testimonials. Okay, so that's a little nugget for you. Videoask.com. All right. So you want to be collecting testimonials. This is one of the biggest things that people don't do, and it causes them not to have the level of conversions. You want to make sure you get validation. So you can utilize videos, you can utilize image ads. Of course, with Facebook, you use carousel ads, where you can have multiple videos inside of one ad, or even image ads as well. So it's really, really powerful. And the key thing here is to understand with monetization is you want to be following up multiple times. Statistics shows 80% of sales are made after the 5th to 12th contact, right? So 5th to 12th touch. They have to see you over and over and over again. So where most people drop the ball is in what we call the retargeting, in the follow-up, in the engagement. It's kind of like the old days when you used to go to networking events and you collected all those business cards and you put them in a drawer and you never call those folks. That's what most people used to do. And most folks are doing the same thing with advertising. So you don't want to do that. You want to make sure that you're following up and consistently with your advertising, okay? So that's how you monetize. So that is so key. And one additional strategy, again, leveraging Zoom. So, have your clients that are willing to jump on Zoom or some of the StreamYard or some of the live stream services with you, and just talk to them about their experience with your services and record that, and you can turn those into ads. See, people on Facebook are looking for real and raw and authentic conversations. So you don't have to be buttoned up and so professional. You can definitely just be very yourself and interview people in a very natural setting, and then turn those experiences into advertising. So they're native, they're fun, they're engaging, and people get to see behind the scenes into who you are and the experience people are having with you. So it can be very, very powerful. So here's one of my clients, Tasha Chen. She actually interviewed one of the new clients that came on board when she was doing her program. In fact, this lady is a COVID-19 recoverer. Survivor, right? Survivor. And so we saw that. I was like, whoa, she actually just came through the COVID and said yes to a program. So if that doesn't give you evidence that people are still buying, nothing else will, right? Because she actually just came through the process. She had COVID. She's a survivor. And she said, listen, I'm at a point where I don't want to,
Wow.
I want to accomplish my dreams. She wanted to be able to, and she made a decision to say yes to a $5,000 program,
Wow.
right? In this time. So I get so excited, sometimes I trip over my words, but it's amazing the kind of transformation we make when we say yes to ourselves, okay? And I get really excited about that. So telling client stories and using interviews, using Zooms as a way to share those experiences with your audience can help you to monetize into your programs. Very, very powerful. Okay.
We got some pretty good questions on the table, on the floor, on the virtual floor.
Okay.
So while you're going to the next slide, are ads in Facebook the same as boosting the posts? I cannot wait for you to be on that. Woo-hoo! Please educate the audience.
That's such a great question, because unfortunately Facebook didn't do a good job of helping us to identify the difference between boosting and then running ads to the ads manager. So boosting is simply the ability to be able to hit that boost button on a post on your business page and just add some advertising dollars behind it so you can get in front of more people. Now, over the years, it's got more sophisticated, meaning when it first started, it was just basically you could boost it to your fans, right? Get more content in front of your fans, because as you know, the organic reach on your page is so minimal when you post something. Facebook is now forcing you to have to boost or amplify or put ads behind your post so that you reach more of your fans. Now, you also could advertise or boost to friends of your fans as well. So those are some of the early things that you could do. Notice it's got a little more sophisticated. Now you can actually boost and select a little bit of a targeting. You can select video views, but it's still very limiting as to what you can do to control your campaign. So boosting is simply the ability to just add advertising dollars behind your content to reach more people that's on your page. Now, running advertising strategically, it requires you to go inside the ads manager area so you can set up a campaign. You can set up what the campaign objective is. So if you want to have conversions on your website, you want to pick the conversion objective, and you want to be able to split test, meaning you want to say, okay, I want to run an ad to men, and I also want to know to add to women and see which one is converting the best. You can't do those things with boosting, right? So you do need to do that in the ads manager. If you want to split test, image versus a video, which one is getting the most attention? Which one is converting? What copy, meaning the message, is resonating with my audience? You can't do those things with boosting. So really, boosting is for the purpose of just getting your content out there more. That's what I use it for. So use it if you have a large audience, you can use it for the purpose of getting in front of more fans, but I wouldn't leverage it for your overall strategy. It's a great jump start, but not for an overall strategy. Okay.
Great answer.
Yeah.
And I approve that message. So we gotta. I always like when people ask that question because it's a really good question, and I think that it's very important as you start to get into Facebook ads that you understand the difference. That boosting does have a lot of limitations when it comes to what the actual Facebook ad manager, the capabilities that you can have in there. So it's a great question. There's another question. It's really good too. I'm a psychotherapist, so confidentiality is important for clients. Now, how do you use video ads or testimonials in that sense? Ethically, we aren't even supposed to ask for the feedback.
I understand. So one of the things you can do is, I have an attorney who is in the estate planning arena, right, in industry, and same situation. He can't use names or can't have his clients come on and tell their stories. So what you could do is you could tell a story about a person and the situation, but don't use the names. So you could say, I worked with a client today. You can do the video, say, I worked with a client today, and here's what's the situation, and here's what they were going through. And so as a result of the situation, here's the process that I took them through, and here's was the transformation that I received. So you may not be able to get your clients to give you testimonials, but you certainly can tell the stories of clients or situations and help to paint that vision or paint that idea that, listen, you've worked with clients just like me. Right? So you can talk about the situation versus having your clients come on and do testimonials. So again, that may work for your specific industry. I've never worked in your industry, but I know for my estate planning client attorney, same thing, the very, very client privilege type of industry. You have to be careful what you share. And so we utilize that particular strategy. So hopefully that answered your question.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Any additional questions? I know you got to finish wrapping it up. And one thing I want you to keep in mind too is for people that may not have like testimonials in their business, what are some suggestions that you have for individuals that may not have testimonials yet?
Okay. So as I mentioned before, so case studies, you can certainly ask your client, based upon the results that you've already generated, ask your client, would it be okay if I shared their experience, their transformation with my service, my product, whatever it is, and share those. And then, so as you've seen, as I've been going through this presentation, just dissect what I'm doing. If you notice what I did in my presentation, all I did in my presentation was to share you a case study, step by step, of what I took my client through. So in a sense, you're building belief by utilizing a case study or a testimonial that way, right? So I'm taking you through the steps of what I did. My client is not here to share with you. No, I have the video for sure, but I do have the video. I do, practice what I preach. But what I'm saying is I'm utilizing my client's story to paint a idea that Facebook works. And so you can do the same thing in your marketing as well. Okay, so reach out to your clients, just get the permission that you can use it, and basically tell their story that way. So that case studies can work very effectively.
I love it.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that.
Any others? Okay. All right. So either I did a great job or I was confused some folks.
No, I think this was really good. It's really helpful. And I think, it came right in time because as we are looking, and I believe that a lot of people on here that are under the sound of my voice are either having a hard time getting new clients, or B, lead generations. How do we get new leads?
Yeah.
And so I think that this is, everybody wants PowerPoints. I love it. So I think that this is a great way, like when you have pretty much saturated your warm market and it's time to tap into a new audience. This is one of the best ways to start seeding and creating their awareness about your brand. I love the buyer's journey. So the awareness, the consideration, and what is it? Don't tell me.
The decision.
There you go.
Yeah.
Consideration and buying decision.
Yeah.
So I love the way that you utilize the advertising or the Facebook ads to build that relationship, because Absolutely. At the end of the day, either you're going to do it in a organic way or you have to pay.
No, that's very true. And what I tell individuals all the time is, listen, you can run an advertising campaign to always be seeding and building a relationship. Here's the thing, the opportunity right now through COVID is just to create videos and keep $2, $3, $1 campaigns going, just to continue to build your audience. As you talked about, DeKesha, lead generation is key right now. And audience building is key right now. So you can create videos in the awareness stage and just start to run some campaigns and just spend a few dollars. You can spend $1 a day. You can spend $2 a day and just keep your advertising out there. So you never just run out of an audience. See, what happens is we exhaust our audience and then we want to go and find new opportunities. And that's where the cost becomes high, because quite frankly, people don't know you, like, and trust you yet. So they have to kind of get to know you. So instead of waiting until that happens, keep a constant brand awareness campaign going. Brand awareness campaign all the time. An ad with video content where you're sharing some tips and value to your audience. You're addressing some of their concerns, keeping that going. So put aside a budget, even if it's like $20 and you spread that $20 over 20 days. It's like $1 a day. I mean, you can simply do that. And so when you're ready to have a promotion, guess what? You're always bringing people into your fold. You're always bringing new, fresh eyes into your business. And so that's one thing that you can do. So I did want to just kind of share the campaign results. So because of what we did with Dr. Carrizella, we were able to increase his revenues by 25% in literally 90 days, okay, with that campaign. He generated a ton of inbound calls and converted a lot of those individuals into sales. And then, of course, Andy Enriquez, I've been working with him for the past 2 years. And I just want to share the first campaign we ran, but we've constantly been generating huge returns on ad spend with his campaign. But for him, the first campaign that we did, we spent like $900 and we generated over $25,000 in sales. So like 20x return on his ad spend for that campaign. So the reality is that we are continuing to do these things even through this time. Our clients are continuing to plant seeds. So you don't judge a day by the harvest, you judge a day by the seeds that you've planted, right? So you want to continue to plant those seeds all the time so that when things happen, when you have to pivot, when the economy shifts, you still have an audience of people that you can connect with. You have an audience of people who still wants what you have. And yeah, you may have to make some pivots and adjustments like Amy was mentioning, but the reality is at least you have a pool of prospects who know, like, and trust you, and definitely want to do business with you. So let's just recap. So you certainly want to capture your audience attention. Okay, that's in the awareness stage. Okay, you want to build trust and authority by addressing their questions and concerns, and then you want to enroll them into the next step, whatever the next step is for you. It could be a phone call, it could be your webinar, it could be into your program, whatever it is, by showcasing your results. And so I don't have an offer, but I do want to invite you guys to join me inside of my social media ads training group. It's a free group called the Profitable Ads Academy. In the group, we go deep dive into most things around Facebook advertising, Instagram advertising, some of the more intricacies of how do you create profitable ads. And so if you want to join me inside that group, I'd love to have you in the champion community. Okay, I'm always going to bring the accent, so 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 hopefully you like that. So I'm always going to bring the accent. So join me at Profitable Ads Academy. So if you go to Facebook, in the not in the URL, but in the message section there, you want to type in Profitable Ads Academy. You search Profitable Ads Academy on Facebook and just hit join. You're going to have to answer a few questions. Go ahead and do that and join me. All right. So that wraps up my time. If you have any further questions, I am here. I'm going to hang out with you guys. All right. So it's been a pleasure and an honor to serve you. And I hope that whatever I've shared has made a significant impact and a difference in your life and your business. Keep moving forward, champions. Bring the questions.
Awesome. All right. So I did post the link for your group out there so that they can join you. Absolutely. Penny Lee says, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So don't go anywhere because I got to share some information with you guys. So hang in there for about 15 or 20 minutes longer. I promise you. I know we're supposed to be done, but you know what? It's been good. Like I've already gotten messages in my inbox saying, oh my God, like they kept my attention the entire time. This was freaking phenomenal. So any questions before we switch the conversation? And we've been talking about lead generation. We've been talking about attracting clients. And we're really going to talk about how you can have a 5-figure launch using webinars in your business. Now, typically, I've taught on this for 4 days. So to push this into a 20-minute talk, y'all pray for a sister. Any questions for my friend Darian? Thank you so very much. I think this is so critical. I think this is so critical for everyone, regardless where you are, if you're a seasoned entrepreneur, if you're, you've been in business for quite some time. So just, he's going to be here hanging out with us. I am going to make sure that, yes, we will be sending out the recording to everyone that registered. Let me say that again. So if you register, we will definitely be sending out absolutely the recording to all of today's phenomenal facilitators. So, all right, let me go ahead and see. I'm trying to see if there's any more questions. If not, I am going to share my screen and Darian is going to be here answering any questions in the chat box. And I think that's my cue. And this is really why I brought you guys together today, right? And like I said, let me make sure. Is my camera still on? I know Facebook sometimes, there we go, doesn't like when you don't have the camera on. But really, a lot of you guys have, opted in. You came by way of register at www.recessionproofcode.com. It's www.recessionproofcode.com. Someone online is asking where to register to get the recording. Yeah, because I don't know how long these videos are going to be up. But yeah, so make sure that you share this out. But my mission really is to help you guys to create your first 5-figure launch using webinars so that you can create a freedom-based lifestyle that you deserve. One of the things that we've been doing, we've actually implemented a lot of the things that you have heard throughout today, whether it was quizzes, whether it was surveys, whether it was poll questions in our Facebook group, having conversation. And the number one thing that keeps coming up is the fact that we are struggling with lead generation. We're struggling with cash flow right now. We are struggling with systems and automation in our business, or the fact that, oh my gosh, people are not buying. Well, I am here to tell you that people will pay you if you help them solve a problem today. Let me say that again for the people that are just joining. People will pay you if you help them solve a problem today. And here's what I know to be true, that there's 3 challenges that most of you are having. And if any of these resonate with you, do me a favor and comment in the box below. Some of you feel pretty stuck and stagnant, that you are struggling with inconsistent revenue and or cash flow problems. Trust me, I get it. I've been there. The second challenge that I've seen, and a lot of people have had to shift, is because their business was reliant upon one stream of income. So what does that mean? A lot of people only had one service or one product in their business. And when the economy took a turn, that most of your income either withered away, or it, like Amy said, she lost money. I lost money in the month of March as well. However, you have to make a shift so that your business is not reliant upon one service, one revenue stream in your business. So if this is resonating with any of you, do me a favor and let me know if one of these challenges maybe stick out for you. Some of you also may have an idea, but you can't seem to make it profitable. And one of the things that I always say, and you can jot this down in your notes, idea plus implementation equals income. Idea plus implementation equals income. So many of us have this phenomenal idea that we want to implement, or we want to implement, but we just do not know how to get it done in order to generate the revenue. That's really why you guys are here. So my question is, what if you could literally have your first 5-figure launch with less than 50 people on a webinar? So many people feel that you have to have 1,000, 2,000 people on any given Zoom or a webinar platform in order to generate $10,000 or more in your first 5-figure launch. And really, I can tell you that it's really not true. I think we had 80 people in our challenge the first time that we did either the webinar challenge, and we had our first 5-figure launch. But the key is you have to be able to position your expertise in front of the right audience. That's one of the reasons that I specifically bought these facilitators on today, because it's a matter of making sure that you have the right brand, that you show up online as the expert, that you are able to connect with your ideal client on the platform where they are hanging out at. If they're not on TikTok, then no need for you to be on TikTok. Now, if they are, then so be it. That's where you will position your expertise. But you're going to increase your conversion regardless of the size of your list, regardless of the size of the people that are opting in and showing up to your webinar. Okay, so that's what we're going to talk about a little bit today. And I think we talked about this earlier. Someone was asking about niching down. And so when you move from speaking to everyone, you convert to speaking to the one. And that could be realtors. It could be home inspectors. It could be event, specialists or coaches, speakers. But you have to make sure that your message resonates with your exact audience. Okay. So the reason why a lot of people struggle is because they're trying to speak to everyone. And regardless of whether your product is actually, user friendly for everyone. For example, anyone can actually use webinars. And at this point in time, this day and age, everyone is using them. But when I do my marketing message, I'm not speaking to everyone. I'm specifically speaking to an audience of people who want to raise their hand, that I know that I can help them in their business. And you should be doing the same. That way you position yourself to actually make more money, right? So the question is always, well, can I use webinars, or will webinars work for my industry? And at the end of the day, I feel like this. If you are selling a product, if you are selling a program, you have to be able to provide information to your prospective clients. Darian just shared with us information about utilizing Facebook ads to grow our audience, to create awareness. That by itself is a webinar. Amy did the same thing about client attraction. She's sharing information with us. So any type of products or services that you have, I can guarantee you that you have information that can be structured into a 30-minute, 45-minute, 60-minute, 90-minute webinar presentation. All right. Oh, hold on. I don't want to show you the secrets yet. So one of the things that I learned is that webinars are vehicles used to transfer information to the end user so that they can make an educated buying decision. And why is it that I say that? Because when you are on a webinar, a lot of people don't understand that this is the perfect opportunity for you to position your offer. Like, you're not just on here just because you have nothing else to do. Like, the goal is to monetize, but it's two ways that you can monetize. And so I want to real quickly, how many of you actually have a product or service that you are ready to that you are actually ready to sell right now? So I kind of went back to my screen so I can actually see your responses. How many of you actually have a product or a service that you can sell right now? I got my daughter in here opening up a puzzle. I don't know if y'all can hear her or not. All right, good. Awesome. I have both. Definitely. Okay, cool. Awesome. That's good. So, I mean, you are definitely in a position. Let me go ahead and share it again. You're definitely in a position where you can use webinars, and actually what it does is it helps you to get your ideal client. So you're not speaking to the masses, you're actually speaking to an audience of one. So you're speaking to someone that's actually interested in the products and services that you have. So the thing about, and we talk about this a lot, the thing about the live streams, right? A lot of people think that, oh, ideas on paper, but not created yet. All right, cool. Stay tuned. I have something for you. So a lot of people, they like to go live, right? And here's my secret. This is my secret sauce, and I want you to jot this down in your notes. I use live stream for awareness, and I use webinars for conversion. And Darian did a phenomenal job of speaking to the buyer's journey and awareness, consideration, and conversion, right? So I use live stream for awareness. Like, we're streaming right now, and this is to create awareness. But when we are ready to have a sales conversation, we are using a webinar. Webinars are a vehicle used to transfer information to the end user. And I think that, I don't think he taught the educational-based marketing. But one of the things that you have to understand is that 67% of the audience that you're speaking to are not even considering the products or services that you have. So one of the individuals that is on here now, I actually work with her, and I know that she works in the financial industry. So she does like the life insurance and financial education, 401, investing, and all of that, right? And so with that being said, one of the things that she has to understand is that the people that actually are ready to buy is only 3% of the audience. So if you are speaking on a stage of 100 people, only 3% of the people are in that audience will pull out their credit card and are ready to buy. And that's one of the reasons that you feel like the industry like is saturated. How many of you are like, oh my God, everybody's a coach, everybody's a speaker, everybody's an author, right? I know you guys have said this. How many of you feel like your market is saturated? Your niche is saturated. The only reason that you feel that way is because you're marketing to the 3%. Instead of marketing to the 67% of people that never considered the vehicle that you actually offer. Like, there's some of you right now that are like, yeah, I heard about webinars. I've heard about product launches. I've heard about, taking my business and shifting my business online. But now that I hear what DeKesha's talking about, it actually makes sense, right? And it's the same thing for your audience. It's the same thing for your tribe. You have to educate them as to why your vehicle will help them to their, what I call the UGT, the ultimate goal of transformation. So here's what we were able to do using webinar launches in my business. And I actually love to share the screen because these are real numbers. So the bottom represents the low end and the top represents the high projection. And so this is, I didn't know it at the time, but it's called launch stacking, right? And our methodology is that one program will change your life if you let it. One program will change your life if you let it. And so I believe that if you launch one program 4 times a year, you can actually generate $100,000 with that one program. I want you guys to type that. One program will change your life if you let it. And so you can price the program at $9.97, $5.97, what have you, right? and let's just say 10 people enroll and you put them on a 7-month payment plan. That's the example that you see on the screen. And so what happens is you're going to launch in January. They pay $724 a month, 10 people, right? That's $7,000 a month. How many of you could generate, or how many of you could benefit from $7,000 a month in your business, right? You can raise your hand. You can say me, whatever you want to put in the box, right? But what happens is for the next 7 months, we have predictable income coming in. Is there going to be turn? Yes, there's sometimes that's turn, but to be honest with you, it's not really that much, right? But I love predictable income. Some people say residual income. I like to call it predictable because I know what's coming into our bank account as cash flow, all right? And so in April, we set out to launch again. We're going to be launching the same curriculum again. And this time, for the sake of the example, this time we said, okay, well, 10 more people are going to join. Now, granted, your numbers, you do it right, they increase. But that's another $7,245 a month. Can y'all see the accumulated revenue in April? It's about $14.5 thousand a month with one program that you're selling from a webinar, right? And in July, that's $21.7 thousand in your business. I think I've shown you enough. So that just gives you an idea of what you can do with one program in your business. Now, some of you guys are really new to me. You've never heard me teach before, but I want to thank you for hanging out with me today. And just to kind of give you a really quick synopsis of who DeKesha C. Williams is, I am the #1 virtual COO, and I help entrepreneurs build systems and processes so that they can generate revenue and generate leads in their business. I have helped clients increase their revenue by over 200% by implementing some of these systems. I am a mompreneur, a wine connoisseur, absolutely love wine, and we finally made it to a winery in Indiana. I believe we were in Indiana, yes. And I believe that everyone deserves to be a lifestyle entrepreneur. Really quickly, if you guys don't know, I left corporate America August 25th, 2011. I went on leave of absence. I'm still on leave of absence. #longest leave ever. But when I started, I was not in a position where I could fly and, take on keynoting gigs 4 and 5 times out of the year or out of the month, to be honest with you. So I had to find a way where I could be present with my kids and I could make money at the same time. And so being the virtual COO has allowed me the opportunity to be present with my kids. I'm the mom that's on the sidelines screaming. There's pictures, I promise you, of me screaming on the sideline, cutting up, whether it's football, gymnastics, track, or basketball. Yes, that is me. But utilizing the webinar system, the product launch system, has allowed me to do that. And so when COVID-19, when everything and the shift to online happened, it wasn't really a huge change for me because I was already working from home. I was already building relationships online. So these are my 2 kids. Wow, Jaden's bigger than both of us. You see Deja and Jaden. So most of you guys that have, kind of been around a while, you guys know #Team Jaden, #Team Deja. But webinars are the most effective method to create 6- and 7-figure businesses. If you guys are online at any given time, I know you see a lot of the ads that are coming across the pages. A lot of those ads are taking you to an automated webinar. So a lot of these people are actually making money in their sleep. And so this is not theory, and I never teach anything that's theoretical. I teach things that we do in our business that we have helped our clients do in their business. So we utilize like a 6-step system. It's the profit blueprint system. And so if you're asking whether or not you could do something like this, like a teaching format in your business, webinars have helped, God, I always forget her name, but she's made over $10 million selling courses on mobile homes. She has two or three 2 comma clubs with Russell Brunson. And it's all from selling mobile homes, like wholesaling mobile homes, right? A lot of people that are in the network marketing industry. I've had a client that hosted a webinar and enrolled 10 people into her network marketing company and brought home a 8-foot trophy. So it does not matter the industry that you're in. I've had people to do webinars and sell tickets to events and sell tickets to one-on-one coaching programs. But the key is, this is your opportunity to position yourself as the expert, build authority, build your tribe, and build your list. And also, my favorite part, make money. Like, how many of you are in business to make money? Or did you just create a hobby? I don't know. You tell me. But if you can create a freedom-based lifestyle, this is the way to do it. So step number 1 is about prospecting, okay? You have to identify who your ideal client is and craft a message that speaks directly to the problem. Craft a message that speaks directly to a problem. And you have to understand what's keeping them up at night. The biggest thing that I see, and you can go back and look at my copy, right, for promoting the summit. The biggest thing that I see is people are saying, come join my event, come participate in my summit. But why? Like, what are you going to get out of hanging out with DeKesha for about 4 hours, right? And that specifically is how we did our copy. We understood, we made sure that we position it where we understood what some of your struggles were so that you would want to show up and hang out with us all day. And that is what I consider to be promoting the problem and servicing the solution. So I want you to write that down. Promote the problem and service the solution. That's how you get people to raise their hand. All right. The next thing is a resolution. Most of you have already said that you have a product or service. Some of you still have an idea or a concept, and you're struggling with putting that idea into a course. Don't worry about it. But at the end of the day, you have to have a solution that solves their problem. And a lot of people, they get bummed out about doing an online presentation or a digital event, right? They get bummed out because they don't have a product or something that they can sell if they were to have a conversation with someone. And even if you don't have it recorded, I tell my clients all the time, you don't necessarily have to have the entire module or program recorded, because I don't want you out here recording 10 modules and it doesn't meet the problems that they have. You've got to do your research. You have to do your homework first before the course is created. There was a time, and I remember I did a launch and I thought it was going to flop, y'all. I'm telling you, I did a launch and I'm telling you, when you open the cart and it was crickets, oh my goodness, it was the longest open cart day of my life, right? But we had to make a shift. And so the audience still had the same problem. So we shifted the title of the offer. Granted, I had none of the training recorded, y'all. I'm just being transparent. But I teach consistently the same content. So I knew in my mind that I could put it together. And as long as I was 2 steps ahead, it was okay. So we did a shift. I sent out an email and I told them if they wanted to generate leads and generate revenue in 8 weeks, and we still sold about 8 seats at the same price. So we still came out with a 10-figure launch, right? But we generated the revenue before the course was even created. Got it? Step number 3 is optimize. What does that mean? That means that you do not wait for somebody to ask you to come on their stage. You create the platform and you create your own hype. Create a space where people are coming to hear you speak. They're coming to hear your level of expertise. And the best way to do that is to create a platform where they have to opt in and give you their information to hear your presentation, because you're going to be sharing knowledge that's going to help them solve a problem. Got it? And I love the webinars because this is the opportunity. How many of you, again, are struggling to build leads or generate leads? You just type me. How many of you are struggling to generate leads, right? Or get in front of people who have the problem that you solve? Me, right? Using webinars gives you a list of people who are waiting to work with you. Can I say that again? Using webinars helps you build that list of people who are waiting to work with you. So we have a group called ProfitProducersMovement.com. If you're not a part of that group, I invite you to go over to ProfitProducersMovement.com, right? In that group, out of the people that responded to the survey, do you know 70% of the people have an email list of less than 500? One of the fastest ways that you can grow your list, start having weekly webinar. A client of mine, Mordecai, had a list of over 14,000, did a launch, like an email-based launch. And I think he closed like maybe 8. I think 4 might have dropped out, but he hired us on to do a challenge for him, a challenge and then a launch, right? Using the webinar platform. And he actually sold his one-on-one coaching program to 4 people and generated, oh my God, close to like $96,000 from the challenge and launch. And this was using the challenge, webinar, launch model to a sales conversation. So let me share with you some statistics, right? 30 to 40% of the people who show up will become prospective clients. I am giving you the easy way to build your list and have sales conversations. Let me wait and let you think about what I just said. I am giving you the easy way to build your list and to position yourself to have sales conversation. Does that make sense? Are you with me? Say yes. Let me get a yes. I'll even, let me find the chat box somewhere. I can't find it. There we go. All right, we got some yeses. Awesome. All right, so the next thing that we have to do is really get focused on our messaging. And now we talked about a little bit about this earlier. How to position yourself as the expert in the field, right? Here's the piece where people fall off. They are doing a phenomenal presentation, and there's strategy that goes into a webinar presentation. It's not just about getting on, turn the camera on, and just talking. There's actually a strategy that goes into the messaging that you use, right? But here's the key. You have to craft an enrollment close that leave people asking, how do I work with you? Somebody said earlier, I need you and your friends to make me over to be a badass presenter and client, okay? And that's what you have to do. You have to give so much value that it leaves them like, oh my gosh, DeKesha, like I'm gonna tell you, if I'm on your webinar, if I'm participating in your challenge, I will hit you in your inbox and I will ask you, listen, I know you got 4 more days of your challenge, but what program are you launching at the end and how much is it gonna cost? Because I need to know. Don't worry about it. You already got one. You got your first sale here. You can open up the card if you want to, because I'm gonna go ahead and sign up. That's just the type of buyer I am. I'm the 3%. It's bad because I'm the 3%, and Facebook knows that. So they're always positioning these offers in front of me. But anyway, but for you guys that are under the sound of my voice, I want you to be speaking to your audience. And when you are inviting them to a conversation, they are registering. Got it? They are signing up left and right. That's the goal. This is your time. And I want you to write this down. And as you type it, I want you to say it with me. This is my time to own my space. This is my time to own my space. I am confident that every single last one of you that have stayed on since 12:15 this afternoon, you can provide the ultimate goal of transformation for your audience. Do you believe that? If you believe that, say yes. And so I do have a special gift for you guys. It's my webinar checklist, right? And we just revamped it this year. And we're going to go ahead and give that to you. All you have to do is text in. Let me stop sharing and bring up another one. What questions do you have for me as I bring up the screen for you guys to text in and get your free gift from me? You guys have been phenomenal. All right, so Amy's was this one. Here is my free gift for you. All you have to do is text in the word course to 804-298-2846. You're going to get access to my free webinar checklist. There's so much more information that I can share with you guys, but I wanted to keep it because you guys have been hanging out for a long time, right? So do me a favor. If you want to get access to the webinar checklist, for those of you all that are struggling with your course, there's actually access to course creation as well. Because a lot of people, you're welcome. A lot of people are afraid to do their first webinar because they have not created their course. So I definitely wanted to share this information with you guys. It is so super important, and the time is now where you can actually position your expertise and actually close more sales. We've been talking about this all day long. So do me a favor, text the word course to 804-298-2846. Get access to, you can get access to the webinar checklist that I created for you. I'm going to try to leave that up so you guys can, can have access to it. What questions that you have? Absolutely. Yeah, just reach out to me. Let me know what type of help that you need. Do me a favor and reach out to me. So if you have not registered and you are hanging out with us on Facebook, I highly suggest that you go over to recessionproofcode.com. I want to thank all of the phenomenal facilitators today. Did you guys enjoy this information today? Did you guys enjoy the information today? Thank you to Juliette Stapleton. Thank you to Bianca Jackson. Make sure that you connect with her on LinkedIn. Thank you to Amy Walker. We have a special gift from Amy Walker. I'll be in her program on Monday and Tuesday. Thank you to Darian. Darian is like my Antigua BFF. I see some of my clients are already on here, my profit producers. Yes. We will send out the replay within the next 24 to 48 hours. This is a very long presentation and a very long recording. So we want to make sure that we have some time to chop it up so that you guys can have access to it. But we definitely will be releasing all of the content to you. So make sure that you get registered so you'll get the link. I like to over deliver. I did not expect to get this much. I like it when we over deliver. Awesome. All right, well, again, my name is DeKesha Williams, your virtual COO. Be passionate, be purposeful, but more importantly, be profitable. I will see you guys next time, and thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Y'all take care.